Right. So, you guys are looking at the continent again, as opposed to the incontinent, which is something else altogether.
I am actually just going to quickly throw a shout out. What is the command in Phantom Bot?
Shout out.
Shout out.
It is just shout out, isn't it?
Last I checked. Hang on.
It is just shout out.
If
I'm
it's
just going to
there,
quickly throw a
it's
shout out to Bird vs. Plane, whose channel I was in before I came over here to, in chat anyway, just watching. Before I came over here to play this, because he's, quite a good dude. He streams for charity, and he was nice about our role playing on a previous occasion.
I can go with that.
Since he gave me a shout out while I was in his chat, I thought I would return the compliment.
I can't decide whether that's
he had people
delusion or
watching him when he
taste.
did his, which is slightly different.
Hey, you never know. People may turn up. They may drift in organically.
Yeah, but then they won't see it because it will be in the chat before.
Shut up.
Unless they've got one of those things that actually gives them one of those plugins that gives them the previous chat.
Okay. So, kiddies, what we haven't got this week is music, because I'm on open speakers and I don't want echo back of music, because that would just be really peculiar. And I'd rather not be on headset if I can help it.
I may have got my music, my voice meter settings sorted now. So if you wanted, I could try.
Give it a go if it won't
nuke.
If it won't nuke everything and cause Lazarus to restart.
This is the big problem, you see. It's if, isn't it?
Yeah.
It seems to nuke everything these days. But let's just go with VLC rather than opening anything complicated.
Okay.
And you carry on, and I will endeavour to find some
So,
music and see if I can send it through.
Dagrid the Nilfgaardian and Hamus the formerly known as Skelligan Farmer. Oh, hello. Have arrived in the town. Ow. Sorry. God. Small village in Geso. Gallaswine, which is currently home to a detachment of the Nilfgaardian army, part of the push north.
That's the ones they're referring to as the black coats or the black
That's the
jackets.
black ones, yes. For their black and
Black
gold.
ones, that's it.
Preference of black and gold and white for their clothing. Most Nilfgaardians look like they dressed in a black and white movie.
Or possibly in the dark.
Or in a hurry.
Yep. Which, with your fondness for garish and
yes,
extravagant clothing, makes life interesting.
You can still be monochrome and extravagant.
Yep. You can indeed, as every vampire LARPer proves. Assuming purple counts as monochrome. So, people who've seen vampire LARPers there. Okay.
I like purple.
Yeah, so do I. It's basically everyone dressed like Meatloaf. So,
Yeah.
You basically walked into Gallaswine, established that to the south are bandits that you recently forded a river and a swamp to avoid, not being hugely combative in nature.
Not particularly.
No.
There is the detachment garrison just outside town, or village as it's also known. And did I upload the appropriate? No, I didn't. Excellent. That's when Cyberfox crashed on me.
Let me know if you can hear any music.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Oh, right, okay, so that answers that question.
Yeah.
The answer there being no.
The answer there being there's music.
The microphone should be... I know why.
Okay, that's good to know.
I thought so. I kind of ticked the wrong box.
There we go. I hear music.
I can hear music.
Okay, you'll have to let me know about volume levels, because I don't know how it's going to compare to me coming across. If you need it up or down.
Much quieter than you, but it takes the edge off the silence.
Yeah, I wanted it much quieter than me. I mean, I know that you don't really want to hear anything I say, but I would quite like you to listen to some of it.
Don't listen to a word I say. Yeah. Okay. No, it's actually... I think Roll20 is being slightly squirrely today. So I apologise in advance if I have to restart that. Fortunately, I've got most of my images also saved off to OBS. So if need be, I can just use that. Not so much use for you guys. Fine for the stream. Yeah, it's thrown a wobbly on me a couple of times, so we shall see. So, yeah, you came into Gallaswine.
You did.
In the afternoon, and you made your way through the market to the inn, wherein you made the acquaintance of the dwarven bartender, poked around at the jobs board, the notice board in the inn, and made the acquaintance of a couple of local merchants. A seamstress named Medina and... Marion even. And a tailor named Tilda, who were out for a couple of glasses.
Made their acquaintance biblically in one case.
But essentially you were able to garner some information about the town, who, what, where, and the nature of the job on the board.
Yeah, we found some interesting information about the chap who had posted a request for someone to fix his shingles.
Yes.
Which is not a euphemism.
I know. So, the thing is, this chap, Delgrin, a local merchant, is hosting a party in the next few days. In part a wake, but also... from what you hear, a celebration where he will be attempting to advance his local political aims.
Yes, now he is no longer encumbered with a wife.
Now he's no longer encumbered by his wife, with his wife.
Or quite so many debts.
Yeah. His wife was from a far wealthier family and brought a significant dowry with her, but that remained her property. Now she has unfortunately fallen to drowners, which are apparently in the local creek.
Apparently.
Due to a history of sleepwalking and emotional problems.
I have no doubts at all that there were drowners involved here. Whether they just helped dispose of the body. I mean, if you know there are drowners in the creek and you want to bump off your wife, you hit her on the back of the head and push her in the water, surely.
Yep.
Just leave them to do the rest.
This was despite the dedicated care of the nurse hired to take care of her.
Who we have not seen yet, but I'm guessing is a young hot nurse, just taking a stab in the dark. Much like her husband possibly did.
See, I'm wondering if the nurse did it, to be honest.
Well, certainly
If
the
the
girls
young
think...
hot nurse was a hired assassin.
Certainly the girls
That's
believe
possible.
that there was some sort of foul play, and it all seems to be moving terribly fast after the wife's demise.
So, yeah, as I said to you before the stream, we may be channeling Tithe Panchetto from Chaotic Adequates today. Turning up saying, "Are you the homeowner?"
Right. However, in the nature of honest trade, and possibly scoping out somewhere worth burgling, since you're
I'm
both
as honest as the day is long. The longer the daylight, the less I do wrong.
Yes,
Another quote's from Madness.
You are as honest as the day is long in Antarctica in winter.
All depends how you define honest.
Straightforward.
I mean, am I truthful? No. Do I not take other people's property? No. But nevertheless, Hamus thinks of himself as honest. You know, he's reliable and trustworthy and true to his friends.
You can rely on him to be completely untrustworthy.
Yep. So, the job that may give you an in, as 'twere, to investigating the financial potential of Delgrin's house is that he needs the shingles replacing on his roof prior to the party.
Yes.
Indeed.
There's also the fact that apparently beggars are encouraged to collect scraps around the back of his house. That was as part of the party notice, but whether that only applies to when there's an event. And gives the impression that he is a man of the people.
Or wants to be seen as such.
Or wants to be seen as such.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with these noble, lordly types. They want to be seen as good people, even when they're not.
Yep. You learned from Merian and Tilda that the person in charge in town is a chap by the name of Baron Kelsis. The title Baron is apparently very waftily given. No one's entirely sure if it's actually valid or not, but also no one's quite willing to challenge him.
As in so many places, though, if you can take and keep, claim and keep the title Baron, you're a Baron.
Yeah. Certainly he came from somewhere else and set up in charge, and has been attempting to organise and centralise control in this town.
To be honest, with all that's going on in this town, if he can manage to actually get things organised, nobody's going to care whether he's legitimate. They're going to follow him anyway.
Exactly.
Also true.
Exactly. They've learned their lesson from the town to the south, which held out against the Nilfgaardian armies, attempted to dictate to them, and is now a small collection of huts and a garrison.
Was that a town to the south, or was that the entire kingdom to the south?
That was the town. You're still in that kingdom.
Right.
Basically, the people in this kingdom took one look at what happened to the nearest town on the border and decided they wanted to know. They weren't going to do that.
Let's behave ourselves and be nice to the Nilfgaardians.
Let's be nice to the invaders, and we won't get swatted like flies.
If nothing else, yes, the gnomes all bugged off, however, into the mountains. However, if nothing else, the kingdom to the north is also part of the Nilfgaardian territories, claimed territories, which is something that Dagrid would probably be vaguely aware of. Matina is it's basically the plains. It's 90% flat, and it's where the best horsemen in Nilfgaard come from.
It's Rohan.
It is.
I was going to say, it sounds like good farm country.
Yeah. But it's where Nilfgaard tends to get its cavalry from, the horses and some of the men as well.
Okay.
So that gives you a sort of feel. They pay tribute to Nilfgaard. They're not under direct control. The phrase is yet. Obviously, the less resistance that an army receives, the more likely they are simply to march through on their way north.
I apologise in advance for anything going horribly wrong as a result of this pain in the neck cat.
Okay. I wasn't looking. What's he doing?
Well, he was sitting in my lap, and then he decided he didn't want to sit in my lap, which involved jumping from there to there.
Right.
Now he's here.
Oh, hello. I can see he is.
And may decide I'm not paying enough attention to him and come back this way, probably knocking everything everywhere, including my cup of tea, which is perilously close to my keyboard. I'm just trying to work out whether I've left enough space at the top to put the lid back on, because it's in a travel cup. I'm hoping I have.
Yeah, so long as you open the slot so it doesn't create air pressure. Otherwise, when you open it, it does actually fountain out. Lesson learned.
R2-D2 now has a lid on, so it might not kill my keyboard if the cat knocks it.
Yes. So.
Right then, I'd better get back into character with my terrible Irish accent, for which I apologise to anybody who's ever heard a real Irish accent.
We've established your accent is not Irish, your accent is
my
Irish.
accent is Irish. No, my accent is Skelligan.
Yes.
Bad Irish. I've seen you play Witcher 3. Bad Irish is about right for Skelligan.
It's Scandinavian Irish.
I'd feel a lot worse about this accent if the ones on the game were any better.
The ones in the game are great, but they're all using different ones.
You're all playing different music.
Yes.
We're
Okay,
not playing
Burke.
different music. We're just playing the same notes in a different order.
Yep. So, the day dawns, and although I can't show those guys because it's decided to just drop at me horribly, we will hide the map. We will hide the map. Hide, never mind. There we go. So the stream, at least, can see the sort of view that Dagrid and Hamus are faced with.
I've just discovered the downside to being careful about my keyboard.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. You can't dunk Oreos through the lid of a travel cup.
No.
Tip there for anybody watching.
Oh, the undunkable.
Fishy the undunkable.
Yes. Fishy the undraggable. No, wait, hang on. Come on. Upload. Oh, no, I don't care. So, yeah, basically, that's the lovely view. It's a pastoral scene that smells somewhat. It's actually quite a nice morning.
Now I'm going to have to open the stream so I can see it.
As I said, if R20 wasn't being a bit of a pig, I would have more luck. But as it is, it is. So, it is what it is.
Oh, that's quite pretty.
It
Yes.
is. So now I can swap back. But, actually, yeah, it's not actually giving you any useful information, so screw it.
I'm not going to get to see it. Oh, no, yeah, I do get to see it. It appeared,
Okay.
the stream finally came up just as you turned off it. So I got a flash.
I may as well leave
A
it on
pretty
there.
pastoral look. Yep, there it is.
It is. It's relatively
Looks like you should
pretty.
be fighting a hellhound there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, talking of which, I see your Brutor t-shirt.
Yes,
Rusty Quill for the win.
Ah,
that is indeed a Rusty Quill t-shirt. With Brutor in his Admiral's outfit.
So, Hamus awakens to find
Yes. Hamus wakens
Marion.
early. He grew up on a farm. He's used to being up at crack of dawn. It's just a habit he never lost.
Okay. He wakens to find Marion dressing and sorting herself out.
Bloody hell, she really gets up early then.
well, she's got to get back to her shop.
She has. She has to go back and open.
She must have got up before she went to bed.
She didn't get much sleep. So, she greets you brightly and then yawns. Good morning.
You never did tell me where your shop actually is. You know, if I want to swing by and say hello.
Well, if you want to swing by and say hello, my shop is, if you head out and turn right on the first street you see, and then we're the second from the end of the row. On the left. You can't miss us. We're the ones we've got clothes hanging outside and in the windows.
That sounds easy enough to find then, yes.
I'm sure that Tilda can knock you up something a bit nicer.
I don't know, these gestures at these clothes that pile on the floor, these have sentimental value.
Ah, that explains it. They're not bad. I mean, you know, they're fairly well stitched. They're just a little bit tatty.
They are, yeah, I can't argue with that. They've been through a lot. A lot of time on the road.
Must be
And
known.
at sea, getting here.
Yes, that I can understand. So, are you and your friend planning on being in town for a little while?
Well, we're going to spend today looking for some work. If we find some, we'll certainly be in town at least while we're doing it. If we can't find any work, we'll have to move on because, we can't live on nothing. But hopefully we will be in town a while longer yet.
That'd be nice. She gives you a bright grin and heads out the door.
I shall hop out of bed and give her a kiss goodbye.
Okay. How quick are you?
Reflex 9, speed 8, quick.
Roll that.
So what am I actually rolling?
Roll your reflex.
Reflex.
Yeah.
Oh. This game doesn't have low open-ended rolls, does it?
No.
Right, that's reflex. That's a total of 10 then on my reflex.
I'm just glitching. It is 2d10, isn't it?
No, it's 1.
And 1d10, yeah.
1d10.
Oh. So a d10 plus your reflex came to what?
10.
10.
Yeah.
Right.
You rolled a 1, didn't you, Fish?
I rolled
Yeah,
it.
so did
I'm
I.
starting as I mean to go on.
Yes, so did she. I think these two are actually made for each other.
A match made in heaven.
Yes.
Okay, I was expecting to end up snogging a door. The moment that 1 came up.
No.
I have wonderful mental images now.
You do manage to catch her, but I'd like to bear in mind that you're basically wearing those obligatory sort of loincloth type arrangement underpants.
I'm wearing the
bed
no,
sheets.
this isn't Conan Exiles look.
Largely, yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
I wasn't anticipating wearing that much, but if that's where you want to go.
We're keeping this at least
Well,
PG-13.
I was wearing strategic shadows. I remember a brilliant X-Men comic from the 80s that I can't remember who had broken into the mansion, but it was while Magneto was in charge of the X-Men because Professor X was missing. And he came out of the shower because he heard somebody coming in, and they put the speed lines as where he swept open the door, covering anything that would change the rating of the comic.
Nothing quite beats Beowulf.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yes. Entire fight. Right. So.
Once she's gone, I will then get dressed,
Yeah.
head downstairs, and ask which room Dagrid is in, because I know he booked a second room, and I don't know he didn't sleep in it.
He did. Poor sod. So. Yeah, it's definitely not talking to R20 today. So, yes. You can head down to there, and Dagrid, meanwhile,
Yes,
is waking up
Dum, dum,
with
dum,
a
dum,
slightly cricked neck.
as one does after a night on the sofa.
Yep. Underneath a bolt of woven blanket.
At least it was a warm night then.
It was indeed, which you do appreciate because there is a distinct chill in the air.
Yes, we were in the north, and it was bloody cold on the road, so
Yes.
yes, the warmth is good.
You're in the north by comparison to where you're from.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you've got hot sunny bit to the right, and you've got hot Mediterranean bit, maybe 50 to 100 miles south. So
I come from Skellige, this may as well be Ibiza.
Well, there's a reason to get some Duff music going.
By the way, I can give you Market Town background sounds if you want, since I'm providing the music.
You can if you like, yeah. Okay. So yes, you can stretch, and after you've started gluing yourself back together and done your obligatory thief yoga.
Thief yoga.
You know, the imaginary pull-ups, the individual finger exercises.
Yeah. Finger wriggles 101.
Yep. Tilda heads down the stairs into the small kitchen area. and draws a small glass of, ironically, small beer, and hands it to you.
Ah, no, you see,
Morning.
I could do your drinking sound effects as well. I've got talents.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. There was something peculiar on the road last night. I didn't fancy you facing it, or frankly me facing it on my own.
Yes, I think I saw an outline of it.
Marvellous. Well, that'll be something for the new Baron to take care of, won't it?
Yes, I understand the guard are looking for more recruits.
The guard are, yes. Been trying to persuade the local Likeleys to join up, but they're as happy taking jobs working as bouncers outside the inn, paid in beer.
Yeah.
Plus, to be fair, nobody's entirely keen on being seen for working for the, Nilfgaardians. Sorry.
No offence taken.
But, if you're looking for a job, yes, I suspect they'd be quite happy to at least talk to you. Kelsis has got the big house. If you head up the hill, it's the large 2.5-story, shingled in white and painted red at the front.
Shingled in white, painted red.
You'll be able to spot it. It's the one with the guards standing outside looking aggressive.
When you say looking aggressive, are they actually aggressive or just looking at?
I've only dealt with them peripherally when I have to deliver uniforms. But with the amount of starch I was asked to add to the uniforms, I'd be aggressive.
Do they offer good pay?
Pay-ish. It's not as good as the army, but as I said, nobody wants to join the foreign army. It is not bad, but, you know, they give you your room and your board, so, you know, that's something in these days. Wouldn't like to try and place bets as to what exactly they serve you in your stew, but...
So, room and board and pay.
Yeah. And the ability to get stroppy with anyone in town who doesn't, you know, jump out of your way.
Thank you. I may well look into that. I feel certain that Hamish may want to stay in town.
Well, you want to keep an eye out. I mean, the last thing you want to be is conscripted, just in case.
Well, no, the last thing I want to be is castrated. It sounds very similar. Not quite the same.
God.
Hopeless. So, a few minutes later, there is a knock on the barred door, and Tilda heads over, flings open, or not flings, but lifts open the bar and the bolt, and Merian comes in, looking far too chirpy for this time in the morning. Hello. Oh, hello.
Somebody
Good morning.
get me fuel
This
this
is not
week.
what you think.
Oh no, it's fine. She walks past Tilda, heading for the upper story. Tell me all about it later. Nice to see you again. and and she's gone. Tilda just face palms, basically.
I just had a thought.
Really?
Right. Yes. In terms of my activities last night, I don't know whether you might want to consider how observant Marion is. Because while my throwing knives and all my thieving gear were in my satchel, which, unless she deliberately went looking in it while I was asleep, she hasn't seen inside.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing that unusual about a stiletto. The sleeve sheath that it was in, if noticed, might have raised an eyebrow or two.
Okay, for under normal circumstances, I'd say that the situation was a bit distracting. However, clothes are her business.
Are her thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
what with her being a seamstress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's give her a chance to have noticed.
I apologise that the music keeps glitching out. I'm going to have to find a better option here, I feel. Basically, it's streaming directly off the NAS, and every now and then, because my network is a little bit iffy, it kind of loses the stream and pauses while it refines it.
Okay.
And I have to actually copy the tracks over to the local drive and play them from there.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh, hello. That's just being peculiar now. Right. Let's scare the life out of everybody. And,
I think it's more like just going to scare the life out of fish, possibly.
Yeah. No, scare the life out of you two as well, if you're in Roll20.
Oh, okay.
That's a drowner.
So it's kind of an old school pong drowner. It was bouncing around the screen there.
Yeah, he's an ugly fella, isn't he?
Yeah. So's the guy behind him. It took me a couple of looks before I noticed him.
Well, the one that's sort of slightly further down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the one who's having his Apocalypse Now moment. Sorry. A joke only Fishy will get, and only if he notices.
I've currently got a window, Explorer window open in front of the picture, so I haven't seen it properly.
Fair enough.
Hang on while I move that window out of the way. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, endearing, aren't they?
Aren't they, though?
So, yes.
Yeah, kind of.
But I've killed many of them in Witcher 1, so I already knew what it was.
Slightly disturbing way.
Yes, they're not drowned dead, which are harder. Which is something else altogether.
There is a drowned dead as well as drowned.
There is drowners. There are drowners, and then there are sort of the level up version, which are drowned dead, which are harder.
Mummy.
And then you've got ghouls and alghouls. Getting bigger,
Yes.
bigger and nastier and tougher and chewier.
What apparently you don't have is Simonscape, because it has spontaneously closed itself. That's weird.
There's something very weird going on with the internet as a whole at the moment. It's all a bit strange.
The internet shouldn't have anything to do with whether Simonscape is open. It's just purely local.
This is true.
It's just spontaneously closed, and I don't know why.
Yeah. Spontaneously. Oh, hello. What? You're just making shit up now. Stop it. I tell you what, Roll20 is having complete conniptions today at me. It really, honest to God, is. It being a pain in the nectum. And it
What?
needs and it needs to stop any time.
Now
it
who's
likes.
just making things up?
Yeah, shut up. Okay. It's misreading my mouse input. Stop it!
You really having a bit of a day of it there, Drake.
I am absolutely... Well, as I said, Cyberfox completely suicided earlier. This is Firefox. Which should be happier, but apparently is still arguing the toss at me.
I need to check out the new Firefox.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking, as I said, it may be R20 that's being squirrely. Because it signed me out arbitrarily twice while we were getting set up. So. Oh dear. So what are you guys going to do?
I shall gather any things that I wasn't still wearing from when I crashed on the sofa last night.
Basically your
And
boots and your sword, and if you've got a sword.
no, just a dagger.
Okay.
Another reason why I wasn't too keen on going back alone. I may be fast and agile and nippy, but I have to get lucky many times in a fight. The other guy just has to get lucky once.
Yes.
So it's just my belt dagger, which I really need to look about finding a donor to upgrade from. I mean, finding a way to upgrade to something better.
Right. So yeah, you can head back to the inn, and you are downstairs, Fish, talking to Beltran, the bartender, who looks exactly as world weary as he did yesterday afternoon when you turned up. You're not convinced he sleeps or ever looks different.
He's a dwarf. Why would he ever look
Dwarf,
different?
what do you know? I mean, and I know little about the way they operate.
Right. He will happily serve you a beer, if asked.
I think it might be a bit early in the morning for beer. Then again, this is a magic medieval setting, and there's bugger all else to drink,
Yeah.
so I'll have a beer.
Yeah. You'll get your breakfast
I'll have
beer.
light beer.
You'll get your breakfast
I don't
beer.
need the calories.
Yeah. You get your breakfast beer, which is basically the small beer. Relatively low alcohol, but brewed enough to purify the water. And you can indeed smell. There
Guaranteed
are
100% ground fruit.
There is something bubbling on the stove behind the bar, and there is a stack of wooden bowls next to it. And as you drink your first beer, a couple of obviously local townsfolk come wandering in. None from upstairs. It seems you were the only paying guest last night. And sit down and are served without asking a large spoon glob of bacony porridge. Is the best way you can describe it. It's porridge with what you assume is pig bacon.
So you specify pig bacon?
Theoretically, you can baconize any meat, but
I suppose, yeah, theoretically.
you can, as long as it's cured and sliced properly.
Yeah.
Smells like pig, anyway. But
It's long pig bacon.
I wasn't going to go there, Fish, but
We've come to a town with more issues than just drowners.
the drowners is the cover.
Yeah.
Would I give you cannibals to deal with?
Yes.
This is The Witcher.
This is The Witcher, and I think it's Witcher 2 that actually sends you to effectively Innsmouth.
Oh,
Temporarily,
lovely.
yes. Wandering around the caverns underneath the village houses, all linked up. Cultists. Look, it's totally entertaining. So, a couple of local workmen have come in, and obviously this is their established breakfast routine. Breakfast at the bar, beer and porridge.
Good morning, fellas.
And I take it this is before I get in because I'm still on the way back from...
You're basically on the road at this stage.
Yeah.
It's only a few minutes walk, so you will get in in a couple of minutes.
So question for the journey in, is there anything that I can observe by way of what would appear to be town habits, people that traverse specific routes, well-trodden routes, less well-trodden routes,
Okay.
and a general migration of peoples in a specific direction? Rush hour, if you like.
Okay. What you can see, there is a gather information skill, actually, isn't there?
Is there?
Or is
I
there?
believe I saw it, yes. I'm not sure that I have it, but I believe I saw it.
What have we got?
There's a streetwise.
Yeah. Okay.
There is. Streetwise is under intelligence.
Yeah. Let's go with streetwise then.
Ooh, there's a deduction skill which I utterly failed to take.
Yeah, until you pointed it out, I'd missed that.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
So had I.
So is it intelligence plus streetwise
Yes.
plus D10?
Yeah.
Okay, that's sounding good for a starter. Let's see what the red die can give me. Okay, that would be... let's see. Nightbite's failing at maths. We have 6.
Alright.
And... Whereas streetwise gone 5 is 11. 20.
Okay. Yep, that's pretty much going to ace it. Difficulties, page 58. See how well you aced it. Oh yes. You just made a difficult check, which would include, for example, hitting a chain with a throwing axe at 10 meters. That's the sort of level you've just done. So,
Excellent.
using your knowledge of small towns, small town life, and just people in general, you can see that stalls are being set up at the moment. There are a couple of small children with baskets who are one's going round the stall holders, and in exchange for jingling small coins being tossed into a pot in the basket, is handing out fresh loaves. Obviously not in quantities to be sold to the public, but
As a
basically,
breakfast
yeah,
stall.
basically a breakfast to the stall holders. One of the others, another child with a slightly larger basket, is doing much the same, going door to door on specific houses in the town.
Okay.
You can see a few men heading towards the outskirts of town with farming implements tossed over their shoulder.
Okay.
And in the distance you can see a couple of red tunicked. It's basically sleeveless gambeson tunics over sort of normal thin clothing. Standing there with spears, eyeing up the locals, trying to look impressive.
Presumably the aforementioned local town guard.
Mm-hmm.
Red tunic.
The collars
Nice.
on the tunics do stand up quite a long way. From what you remember of Nilfgaardian fashions, a similar style was within the sort of the more muted, normal colours that you would expect to see. 2 to 3 years ago, that would have been quite close to fashionable.
But of course, fashion does delay travel. Sorry, fashion is delayed by travel the further you get away from the core.
If
Thus,
the
this far from the
Nilfgaardians
core.
have high collars, did they also invent time travel?
There's high collars and then there's built-in solar panels at the back.
Now I see why
Yes.
the girls needed to starch the collars.
Exactly.
I may have to educate some of the local designers on more up-to-date style. But that would be my brother needing to do that.
It does, of course, imply that Kelsis, Baron Kelsis, is deliberately outfitting his guard in vaguely Nilfgaardian style.
Yeah, that did cross my mind.
Not overtly, because very much red is not a colour that you would see
No.
on the streets in Nilfgaard. But it's of a similar style, and it's not a particularly northern one. And I make no comments as to whether the collars count as blade catchers. It always struck me as a really bad idea. I mean, I know they're good because it stops it basically stabbing up through your chin. But it always struck me as a bad idea. I've got a blade catcher on my throat.
Yeah.
So, you can make your way back to the inn. Which I'm
Which I
hoping to
shall.
God I remember the name. Oh yes, the Smoking Horse.
It's the Smoking Horse, yes. I've got it written down.
Yes, so do I. And inside you can see a couple more labourer types eating porridge while Hamus attempts to greet them.
Yes.
I shall see if I can sneak in without Hamus seeing and make it look like I've just come downstairs.
Right. Okay.
I spy with my light.
So that's
This is
sort
PvP
of,
that I'm in favour of.
that is sort of begging the question.
So, intelligence plus awareness plus a
Yep.
D10.
So
And
your
the skill-
sneakiness.
Is there a stealth skill here? And did I
You
put
are
anything into
so
it?
going to sneak in.
I
I'm looking where the
believe.
stealth skill is. That...
I
dear.
had another one, but I was working on it.
Oh, there we go. Stealth. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I was about trying to open the other file.
It's not as foregone as you may think.
Yeah.
17.
15.
Okay.
Didn't see him.
You ghost around the side of the room.
I see we're all playing extreme sounds across the stream today, are we?
I don't know. I just hate you two with mixers. Actually, I just hate
It's only
you
a
two.
virtual mixer.
Yeah, I know.
But I do have those extra 2 cores to help you run it.
Yes.
So yes,
It's
I shall
demanding for me.
come downstairs.
This is The Witcher. This is a grim, dark game of adventure and violence. So far, you basically have beer chatted up some sailors,
And
and
hidden.
it's given a intelligence analysis of the local market.
Yep.
Yeah, basically.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Got to scope out where the possible marks are, you see.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And it all
Not
gets grim
bad.
dark once we work out who the marks are and how we set them off against each other while we pick the stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
Fair enough. He's been learning.
This is Yojimbo the Witcher edition.
I was thinking more the Hustle, the Witcher edition.
Well, yeah.
Potato, potato. Right. So, Hamus.
Yes. I need to go back to Friendly Tavern now.
Yeah, Beltran, after serving the guys their porridge and beer, turns to you and in response to your question that you were going to ask him about which room
Yes.
Dagwood was in, opens his mouth and then says, it's just come down, sir.
He is the soul of discretion. We approve.
Good morning.
Morning, Dag.
How fare you this fine morning?
Locals don't seem very friendly. I said hello and I've not heard a peep at them.
They are busy this morning.
One of the labourer types looks up at you. Lad, you don't get a hello till my second beer. Okay? Besides,
Just wondering whether you were day labourers.
no. We're priests of the eternal fire.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Didn't think you looked it. Only you may have noticed when you were in town, and I thought maybe, you looked like maybe you were useful fellas who could give us a couple of tips as to where we might earn a few coins.
You want to earn? Huh. I was thinking the bandits are being brazen these days.
A bandit would be better dressed than this. They've got all the money. That's the point of being a bandit.
The slightly younger guy next to him leans around his bar stool to get a better look at you and says, "You would, you know. I've seen them. They wear nice gear."
You've seen the bandits.
Oh, yeah. You can't
Now
be
that's
scared of things you
information that
haven't
might
seen.
be useful. Where are the bandits so we can be somewhere else?
South. Over the river.
We were heading north anyway.
Yeah. That's a little worrying, because we came from that way. It sounds like we got lucky.
Well,
Do you not remember seeing the bandits we hid under the bridge from?
Oh, those bandits.
yeah.
Oh, I thought they meant some real bandits.
They've got their own town. That counts as real.
No, real bandits don't have a town. Real bandits live in the woods, and they eat venison. I've read it somewhere. Well, I say read. I heard it. Somewhere. They eat venison and they live in the woods. And they wear green. Bandits wear green.
Why would you wear green in the woods? The woods are brown.
Well, I don't know. They didn't tell me that. They
Your
just
wood-
said that the
your-
bandits lived in the woods and wore green.
Your woods are primarily white.
I'm not a storyteller, okay?
I never would have guessed.
We know this.
If you're after some work, there's creek clearing. That's what we're
Witch
off to
and
do.
Tales.
Beg pardon?
Now that does sound like work, and it is day and all that. But even so, I remember hearing talk of drowners, and creeks and drowners sound like two things that go together.
Have you
Drowners.
seen Drowners or Sign of Drowners?
Do I look like an idiot? I don't go out at night.
Are Drowners not seen in the day also?
Well, they can be. But
I've
Does this
heard
concern you?
tales of drowners in the day.
you've heard tales of drowners in the day.
I have.
So would these be the same tales that tell you that bandits wear green and live up trees?
No, what would the drowners be doing in the trees with the bandits? That makes no sense at all.
The younger man sniggers slightly.
They're in a different tale. Look, my people are all about boats, right? And drowners are all about water. So are you really going to tell me I don't know about drowners?
What are your people?
Do you not know a Skellige when you see one? Or hear one?
Or hear one?
I don't know. What are you? Oh, so you're not a bandit, you're a pirate.
No, I'm not a pirate. If I was a pirate, I'd be on a boat. Do you see a boat anywhere near here?
Not recently.
There you go then. So I can't be a pirate, can I?
It's one of the reasons we've got to clear the creek, so you can get small boats up and down there.
There you go. Well, maybe when we've helped you clear the creek, maybe then the pirates will come. But till then, you'll just have to make do with the Skellige day labourer, won't you?
Well, if you're sold on crawling around in the mud for a day,
I'm not sold on it. You just haven't given me any other options.
well, there was that bloke wants a new roof. There's the guard are hiring.
The roof, you see?
Yeah. I'm no good up ladders,
How
otherwise
different
I'd
from a
give it a
ship's
go.
hull can a roof really be when you come down to it?
They both keep the water out.
There you go, see, precisely. Both made a word, aren't they?
You get a slight. Dagrid gets a slightly dirty look as his accent becomes a little bit more noticeable. You're with the army.
Do I look
If we was with
like
the
a
army,
soldier?
would we be asking about day jobs?
I didn't mean you. You're clearly just,
Well, I'm
I'm no
with him.
soldier. I have no desire to be a soldier.
Deserter.
He's no more a soldier
One would
than
have
I
to
am.
sign
a
up
pirate.
to desert. I don't want to fight. For
You've
what
got
they
this silly
stand for.
idea that everybody in Nilfgaard is a soldier and everybody from Skellige is a pirate. There's actually an awful lot of people in both places that don't do that.
Thinking, actually, Nilfgaardian primarily militaristic, but fair enough.
Well, I can't really speak for the Nilfgaardians. I'm just assuming.
No, the Nilfgaardians do have a large civilian population, but it's the whole, the military is very
They need
much
to
the-
have somebody to maintain support systems for the army.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
From what I can tell, the Nilfgaard populace generally is designed to support the military machine.
Pretty much. It's when in doubt, invade somewhere.
which means the chances are, if you're not in the army, you're a craftsman of some kind. So making roofs sounds good.
Does.
Unless,
So,
of course, you're actually a tailor, in which case that's not a roof, that's a tent.
okay. So, they will tell you where they're going to be working, give you directions, which actually is about half a mile up creek, upriver. Because it's not really
So
a
these
river,
guys are up the
upstream.
creek, right?
Yes. Working their way down towards the town, weed clearing and getting rid of any bodies they happen to find.
Do they find many
Yeah.
bodies?
Well, it's not unusual.
Drowners.
To be fair,
I
drowners
hit-
don't leave much.
This may be a little sensitive, but I hear the local merchant's good lady wife was killed by drowners. Was her body found by weed clearers?
Oh, yeah. Pipes up the younger one. Yeah, I found her.
You found her?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, they
You
presumably
poor soul.
they hadn't really had that much of a go at her after they killed her, because there was more of her than you'd expect.
Is that not unusual?
I don't know. Haven't
Of
they
course
made
it's
chats with
unusual. If you
drowners?
wouldn't expect it, then it must be unusual, mustn't it? Try listening to the boy.
I suppose the thing is, normally what you get is you don't find them until they've been in the river a lot longer, because they tend not to do it in town. They tend to do it just outside the town. So unless you actually go looking for them, you don't find
You're
them until
working on the
they've
creek
sort
outside
of
the town, aren't you?
softened.
So
Well, yeah, but I didn't find her outside town.
Where
well, that
did you
makes
find
sense.
her?
What would
then?
she be doing outside of town?
Sorry?
Where did you find her?
Well, I had a call of nature to answer. So
Ah.
I sort of headed down well, it was just behind the bakers. And
Ah.
I didn't do it in there.
No. I was not. I wasn't.
But yeah, you know, I'm sort of. You answer your call in nature, and you know the creeks are dirty enough anyway. And yeah, I found her.
Just so. Worrying.
It wasn't too bad. I mean, normally they puffed up and got really soft after they've been in for a week or so. But no, aside from the bite marks and the, you know, the chewed head, she was actually not too bad. I love this guy. I'm sorry, I am getting really attached to this young chap.
He's incredibly matter of fact about this dead body that he found while having a
He's
pee.
wonderful about it, isn't he?
Thank you. I am thinking that I need to find something that is not weed clearing. The drowners concern me, and if they are coming to town, that's a worry.
I mean, no one's seen one in town, but they must have come into town to eat that rich
They must,
lady.
indeed, they must have.
By the way, but I neglected last week to make a note of the name of either the merchant or his wife.
Name of
Yeah.
the merchant and his wife was that?
Yeah.
The merchant is called Delgrin,
Yes, we know back up. And his wife.
and his wife is Erian,
That's it.
Eryen.
Oh, I spelled it wrong.
To be fair, I didn't spell it. Of Parston,
Of where?
Parston.
I'm assuming I've got no idea where that is because I'm not local.
You don't. You have no idea where that is. It is significantly north of where you are, like
I really
several
have to
hundred
watch my
miles.
spelling. So I've got it noted that she was jilled by a downer. Rather than killed.
Yeah, but was she jacked as well?
Well, it did break her head, so maybe.
Right.
There is one important question that you people, you very generous, nice gentlemen, have not actually answered for us yet. This creek clearing, what does it pay?
Well, it depends, but generally it pays about 10 crowns a half mile.
Just out of interest, Cogbot has just announced this stream.
Oh, for goodness sake.
It's getting really slow.
It's really getting slow, isn't it? Are there just a
That's
lot
one
of people
Cogbot.
with the streamer tag? And it's unresponsive as a result of needing to search through it all. Gummed up.
Shouldn't be.
No,
I might see if I can look to find a better bot for doing it though.
I can say that.
It might be worth actually monitoring at some point. And I'm just trying to think how many people I've got from the Discord that I get notifications from Twitch directly. I know I do for both of you. That
I
would
think I
let
do
me,
for Freachy and Orlo.
so you're monitoring when I get a notification on Twitch as opposed to when I get a notification on Discord, would give us an idea of whether there's always that big of a gap,
Or whether it just hates me,
or whether it just hits that. Yeah.
which it could do. So, they now have names and everything.
Cool.
Yeah. So I really, I cannot wait for bookmarks in this damn rule book.
Real useful when they
God,
get
yes.
around to bookmarking it.
It's extremely annoying.
It's an indie game. You don't expect everything all at once from an indie game.
No,
True.
no, I don't.
And it's
But,
the first thing that Altar Saurians have published in quite a while.
Oh God, yeah. I'm just after service costs because I'm trying to remember.
Page 93, if I remember
you.
rightly. Yep.
Not that you've got the PDF open.
Hey, I will
may
take that.
possibly have the PDF open.
I will take that.
Maybe on page 93.
Oh God, yeah, I was severely underpricing them. So yeah, that's going to be 20 crowns per half mile.
Sounds like a lot.
It's mucky and hard.
Yeah, I suppose. Mind though, this is fantasy medieval. In that era, they didn't necessarily pay through the nose for mucky and hard jobs. It's in more civilized societies when they have to start paying extra for those things.
True. But a half mile is probably more than these guys can do in a day, so it'll get broken down by distance. I can just see cat eyes again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a cat shadow bobbing around in the background.
It's a cat shadow.
He
and
and
then
I have different
periodically-
opinions as to whether he's been fed enough.
Again.
Yeah.
I don't know. People keep saying, such things are just lovely fluffs. Are they? They're psycho.
No, they are hellspawn. That's what they are.
Leaning in because he knows you're talking about him.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, Pips, we're paying attention to you.
Yes, Pippins, we're talking about you.
Yes. He's come over to look bless. Okay, so yeah, you can make halfway reasonable money on the river clearing crew, or there is the roofing
you
option.
pay, halfway reasonable money.
Yeah.
Let's see. We were paying out at was it the cheap in-room rate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheap in. So basically,
Oh, sorry,
If
no,
we-
sketchy.
we were at the sketchy rate.
You're at the sketchy level.
That's not so bad. So a sketchy in-room and one meal a day each and we'll actually still have a little money left over.
Yeah.
If we want to eat more than once, we're spending more than we're
Earning. If you take the river
So
clear
yeah,
route.
we're going to need...
Which sounds about right for the period. The
if we're working at
setting.
that kind of level, we can't afford to eat in restaurants, basically.
Yeah.
We would need to actually buy food rather than buying food at the
Yeah.
inn, which means, to be honest, that these guys here now eating their breakfast in the smoking horse, this is their luxury for the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they're eating out.
Yep. They're eating a hot meal with meat and a beer before they go to a day's work.
And it's their protein and energy for the day.
A labourer is spending an entire day's wages on one
breakfast.
pint of ale
Yeah.
in the D&D town.
Yeah.
And yet they're apparently in there drinking all night.
Yep. You do notice, by the way, that no coins are exchanged with the breakfasts.
I imagine these guys are running a tab.
Yeah.
Because they're here every day. They'll either be paying in advance or paying once a week or something. They'll probably come in and settle up when they get paid, I imagine. Because
Which is probably once a week.
Yep.
kind of makes sense that would be the way it works.
If you want to rent a horse, it's 50 crowns a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't be renting a horse.
Or you could rent 3 hirelings and get them to carry you, and you'd save money. That's cheaper than a horse.
Or you could sell the stuff that they would be carrying, make money, and carry all your shit yourself.
Yes. Right. I love being the cost of services. Fence.
Yeah.
See, that's when you know you're in a fun game. It's designed for us.
Yes.
Yep. It's got
Does
a
the
price here
fence-
for a fence, and then a little further down, underneath Messenger, we have prostitute per hour. It's perfect. The game doesn't get much better.
Okay.
I'm a little
So-
concerned at the cost for raw meat. I assume that's as in cooking material, rather than
Yes.
just that you're expected to walk in and say, "Give me some raw meat, innkeeper."
I'll take Carpaccio. Yes. Carpaccio de rat. Okay. Carpaccio. No, hang on. Right, so what are you guys going to do?
You can hire 2 hirelings for the day for the price of a good meal.
Yeah. And if you eat them
Sounds
at the end
about
of it.
To be honest,
This is
try
why.
eating out. That's what it's going to cost you.
This is why enterprising gents like yourselves need alternate sources of income.
Absolutely.
And why we do have alternate sources of income.
Income. Why we are not letting on to these people at all. Well, I've still got over 300 grams in my purse.
Yikes. So, what are you guys going to do?
I think we need to...
leave the tavern.
I shall sit down with my good friend Hamish. We need to talk.
Well, we've got 2 rooms on privacy.
Let's go and use one of those.
Okay. Take me out with me, beer with me.
If the barman offers me one, I shall pass. I have already had one this morning, thank you.
Uh-huh. That's knackering your I slept upstairs thing.
That was never done fully in intent anyway.
Fair enough.
Because I was assuming the astute barman would spot the subterfuge.
Yeah. Yes.
And that it would be a humorous sideline for my practiced paranoia companion.
Okay, you can head up to Dagwood's room, which is remarkably tidy.
She made the bed. What's that about?
I did not. I did not sleep in it.
Oh. Wait.
So,
This town does have a certain amount to recommend it.
yes, it does. Now, we have some things to discuss. The first being your good lady friend. You see, I was talking to her friend, and
Have a good talk, did you?
I slept on her couch. I was a gentleman.
I keep forgetting that about you.
Yes.
Still haven't quite got my head around it.
One gets used to it.
I'm
Now,
sure one does.
Mm-hmm.
it would appear
that's one,
that your new lady friend has one of the local thugs has an interest in her and
Well, I
doesn't
can't really
seem
blame
to
him for
get
that,
the
now, can
idea
I?
that maybe she's not interested in him and thinks there is a chance of romance, which might scupper your chances of non-injury, as he's one of the bouncers on this very establishment.
Well, I'm not going to get in his way. We're not going to be here for very long.
Possibly not. The employment opportunities are sparse, and the merchants are not overly well heeled, with, of course, the save for the one with the
This
roofing
Dublin
problem.
fellow sounds quite handy, though, because it's sounding more and more like he'd bumped off his way.
Yes, or arranged for her to be bumped off. I can't see him getting
We
his
might get
hands
a few
dirty
rounds
himself.
out of him.
Quite. If we can prove he did it or was involved, then yes, there is coin to be made one way or the other.
We don't need to prove it. We just need to make him think we can prove it.
Also true.
Okay.
There would still need to be a certain amount of investigation on our parts to make sure that we know what we're talking about well enough to give the impression that we could
That's
improve
true.
it. Improve it? No, just prove it.
But if we can make him nervous, so to speak, that'll help. For example, normally when I break into somewhere, I go out of my way to make sure that nobody knows I've been there. That's kind of the point.
Yes.
But it's not so difficult just to leave the odd door unlocked, maybe a desk drawer open, make it clear somebody's been there. Get him a little paranoid that he thinks somebody's prying into his business.
Indeed.
Then
Okay.
when somebody's saying, "We know what you did," he's got reason to believe that maybe they do.
Also true. Now that would be the trigger point for us to be extra alert, because as I say, I do not believe he did it himself. Therefore, he has companions,
He might
associates,
still be in town, yeah.
who may still be in town.
Yeah, we got to be very watchful about that. I don't like that idea at all.
Now, it occurred to me that they would come from one of two or three angles. They would either be local muscle, they would be perhaps local guard on the take, which could
Yeah.
also be construed as local muscle,
That would be worrying. If they're with the army, that would be really worrying.
or alternatively, they are an external party brought in specifically for the purpose,
That'd be the best one from our point of view.
because
That'd
they
be
would
the
have
best
already
likely
gone.
to be known.
Yes. However, I think our best bet to confirm either way would be to split our looking into things.
Okay. Split
If
your
you are thinking
investigations.
that manual labour is your thing, then we could either go there and look at his roof, assay the situation, possibly even have a go at fixing it, while digging for information.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Despite what I said, I don't know nothing about roofs.
Me neither. I've seen plenty of them, I've seen them put up, but I've never actually done it myself.
I know they're very handy, but I don't know how you make one.
the
It's a
other
matter of
hand-
putting pieces in one at a time. It's quite a laborious process.
Sort of person who is very happy to sleep under a roof, but have no idea how one works.
I know how it works. It stops things falling on your head. That's how it works. It's a barrier.
I'm sorry, we seem to be mistaking roofs for meteorite shelters.
But the roof angle does give us an easy in to the house potentially.
Literally,
Yes.
depending on how big the hole is.
Now, if it's only a small hole that needs reshingling, we could probably get by if he has a provider for the shingle pieces. If he doesn't have a provider for the shingle pieces, then we're out. That simple. Because we can't provide those. We don't have the resources to get them.
Well, we probably can. I'm sure it's not the only shingled roof in town.
I was hoping you weren't going to say that, because it's not going to be a quiet process, and I'm sure people would notice if we started stealing shingles from other rooms.
Okay, well, if you say
This
so,
was
I
a
really don't
one-off.
know.
And now they're talking about de-roofing other people's houses in
And
order
it's
to...
fairly distinctive. Yeah.
To be
Yes.
fair, most of the smaller houses in town have thatched roofs.
Yeah, the only other shingled building I'm assuming is Baron Kelsis.
Kelsis definitely has a shingle building, and his shingles are painted white.
Yes, and I'm
Is there a
guessing that
church?
our merchant shingles are not painted white.
The church, you have not yet seen.
Betch's got shingles.
You're assuming there is a temple to somebody.
I'm not assuming a temple. I'm assuming a small church in a town like this. But
Well, it depends on which faith you're dealing with. You know.
So we have three possible.
Order of the Flaming Farts or whatever they are don't really do small churches, do they?
No.
The Eternal Flame does small churches.
Yeah, I suppose it does, doesn't it? There was a small church outside.
Yeah.
In the settlement outside Vizima.
Yeah, the outskirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does the small chapel type thing because it's the very reactionist,
I so
rebel-rousing
wanted
type.
to kill that priest.
Oh god, yes. Don't worry, that doesn't change with every single priest of the Eternal Flame you meet in that game, and indeed any of the other games. But there are things like there's a lot of way shrines rather than looked after actual church buildings. You'll quite often find way shrines to Melatelli, that sort of thing. On the grounds that the Maiden Mother Crone model of deity is quite popular.
Yeah, and that doesn't necessarily tend to be that isn't really organised religion. That's the thing. So you are looking more at untended.
Yeah, if there's
Not
actually
untended, but not
unstaffed.
permanently attended.
Yeah.
Unstaffed.
You'll
Yeah,
have devotees rather than priests.
tended by the devotees in their own
Yeah.
time.
If there are churches, they tend to be in bigger cities, and certainly for things like Melatelli, they'll also be attached to. They'll be the ones providing the medical services, that sort of thing. Healing is not a purely religious event, but it's nice, big, secure buildings.
And it never hurts to pray to a deity for a little bit of extra assistance,
Exactly.
just in case.
Yeah. So
we could
Is the
investigate at the merchant's place. We could follow with the creek cleaners, or we could investigate the guard. Now, the guard, their styling is modelled after Nilfgaardian uniform. A little old. They're a couple of years behind the trend. The collars are too high, too starched, but I get where the Baron's going with it.
Amos looks at the clothes, they're the same ones he's been wearing for about 3 years, and wonders what the deal is about something being a couple of years old. That says nothing.
let's face it, fashion in Skellige is primarily what's going to get me through the winter without dying.
Yeah. There's a reason why I bought cold weather clothes, cold weather gear, to go with my standard normal clothing.
Yeah.
Makes sense that that just came with him from Skellige.
Yeah. You're heavily into the whole tanned furs, capes and things.
Yeah. Slightly tatty, though, in Amos's case, because everything he wears is tatty. With the exception of his ninja gear.
Yes.
His ninja gear is actually in good condition.
Now, I was thinking perhaps if things didn't work out with the Baron's roof, you seem quite taken with the idea of the creek raking. Maybe if you
Not
follow
really.
that, I can go look at joining the guard. Between us, that'll give us plenty of scope for information and finding out what we need to without going to the merchant, tipping him off that we're looking into it until we're ready to.
The creek thing, it earns a bit of money, and it gives us an opportunity to talk to them fellas.
Yes.
But I don't know really. I think we've probably got everything useful out of them now.
Also true.
It doesn't earn that much money.
And we haven't yet spoken to the guard.
What did it say?
Now, the
20
interesting
crowns
with the
per half
guard
mile.
is
So
The guard are
Well, I can steal
recruiting.
20 crowns in half an hour.
Okay, back to the guard.
The guard are recruiting. You get room and board, and a very starchy uniform. So the pay may not be as much, but we wouldn't need to be paying tavern prices for a roof over our head and food.
So long as they're recruiting foreigners here.
You could always just.
I mean, you'll be alright, because...
I should be fine.
If the Baron is indeed enamoured of Nilfgaard, although he himself is a Nordling, then yeah, you'd probably be fine.
He would certainly appear to be enamoured of Nilfgaard because of the styling. Possibly trying to ingratiate himself with Nilfgaardian higher-ups and prepare for a position of power as Nilfgaard rolls further forward in control.
Maybe make out that you're someone special. Get in as an officer. More freedom of movement, better pay, more opportunity to learn things.
Could be done. It's not like I couldn't pull it off.
Right, make me, Dagred, make me... oh dear, oh lord. There is no common sense. Make me an intelligence check. Just a
Pure intelligence?
Yeah, pure intelligence.
I'm screwed. Yeah, that'd be just a 9.
Okay. You see no difficulty with this plan whatsoever. Okay. Not a problem.
Oh, I see plenty of difficulties with it.
Yeah.
I'm still considering it. It's
Yeah.
something I could pull off.
And Fishy just started swearing, so I'm not quite sure why.
I know you. Make me a roll. You didn't roll very well. You see no difficulty at all. There's a huge glaring error that we haven't spotted.
Now, there is a huge glaring error that I've spotted. I'm just overlooking to see if I can find ways around it.
Okay.
It might not be the one you've spotted.
Yeah, I do wonder if it's the same huge glaring error that I've spotted, yes, which I can...
I know there are several glaring errors in this.
To fully pull it off, I would have to be my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yes, you
would have a whole load of complexities around it. However, if he is enamoured enough of Nilfgaard,
I'm going to make me do another accent. God.
then I could potentially pull it off as Dagrid.
Mm-hmm. So.
Potentially. I'm just trying to work out the best course of action on that.
Noticed a bit of an oddity in this system.
Uh-oh.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. You know this, neither of us know anything about roofing?
Yeah.
It's not actually possible in this system to know anything about roofing?
Yeah, it's not really a big system on giving you craft.
Yeah, the crafting skill is actually
it's for constructing
covers
things.
weapons and armour.
Yeah. No, it's alright. Oh, hello. Do I not merit any lights? What? My lighting has suddenly dropped right off. For reasons known to somebody else. So, and we're back in the room. Okay, camera, thanks for that.
Welcome back, Drut.
Okie dokie. Never mind. So, what are you planning?
I am planning to... I will certainly go and investigate what is required to join the guard.
Okay.
And who I would be interviewed or tested by, and on what grounds. It doesn't hurt to look.
Okie doke. Right. So you're going to the guard. You're going up to Kelso's place to look at joining his guard.
Yes.
Kelsis, not Kelso. That's very different.
Wasn't Dr. Kelso the old
yeah,
doctor in Scrubs?
yeah. Could be worse, could be Kelsey, which is from Star Cops and going back some.
Well, you say going back some. Big Finish have been making new Star Cops.
Yes. We're into the second CD worth now. I must pick them up. I have a horrible feeling I'm going to pre-order the first one. Right. Fish, what's your plan?
That is a very good question.
If Dagwood's going to dress up as his better half...
I didn't say that.
No?
I said I was going to go and investigate.
Ah, okay.
Now, the thing is, at no point has my better half been seen in town, so for him to suddenly turn up would be a problem.
Fair enough.
I think that if we're splitting up and doing different things, that what Hamus is going to do is he's going to scout out to the seedier side of town. He has the streetwise skill.
It's not that big a town.
I know it's not that big. He's going to
do the other
sniff
10
around
minutes.
and see what there is other than just a few toughs acting as bouncers. Whether there is anything more than that, or whether that is just it, but that's not necessarily something you can just make the assumption of.
Okay.
So you can sniff around with his streetwise skill and see if you can find out.
Right then. Okay. Dear. So. Right, let's deal with intimidation. Let's deal with Hamus first.
Hamus, by the way, is an uneducated lout.
Yes.
I hadn't noticed the education skill.
Yeah. Oh.
So he has none.
There's an education skill, so there is.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. At a base 10, you have basic knowledge, the amount you would get from a parent explaining the world to you. I don't even hit that.
That's because your family hated you, to be
My
fair.
family didn't even tell me how to tie my own shoes.
I have the same problem.
This is why you've got pull-on boots.
In your case, that's a problem. I mean, I can get away with it with Hamus. Maybe he just didn't pay attention. But I think you probably had an education, didn't you?
I clearly didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
No, you were just obsessed with clothes.
With clothes and with shiny things.
Clothes
Oh,
and shiny
squirrel.
things. Oh, yes. Yes.
Shiny, shiny.
Yeah, now we're getting it. Yes, shiny boots of leather, indeed. How many people's footwear did he rip off? So, yes, how did we manage to miss that neither of you had education?
Yeah. I think it's because most games that have an education skill give you a default value in it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're assumed not to have lived your entire life up a tree or in a cave.
They seem to be quite fond of letting people live under rocks and...
Yes. And
Yeah,
given
it
how many
should be a
points you,
deliberate choice, though. It shouldn't be something that happens by accident.
given the number of points you get, getting an education to level 10, which is
It's
the base you
bloody
need,
difficult.
is not. Yeah.
It's not easy.
I mean, to be properly educated, you need 13. That's mentored under someone or attended one of the few schools around where you live. Now, if you've got an average person's intelligence of like 6 or 7,
and that's
you're
good.
blowing. Yeah, and that's not
3 to 4.
average as in NPC man on the street. That's average as in not the thing that you do. Then you're still blowing like 6 points to get a decent education. Out of what, 40?
Something like that. It wasn't very many.
Yeah,
So-
really
I've
wasn't
got-
very many.
I've got one skill, really, that has come out as being, oh, I'm much better at that than I expected to be. Everything that I've looked at has come out as being really not very good at it. Until, ironically, small blades.
Yeah?
The one skill I'm really good at is small blades. If I had one more point in it, then according to the description in here, I would be on a par with an assassin.
What skill do you need to be an assassin?
You need 13. Most things tend to be base 10, base 13, base 16 as the levels that they give you for how, what you can accomplish. 10, you can wield a small weapon, knives, daggers.
Without cutting yourself.
Competently. 13, you're an accomplished knife fighter, capable of standing up to an assassin. Going up to and taking on multiple assailants at once.
So you say 13 is assassin level?
Yeah.
13, you can take on an assassin.
Hang on, let me check how
It's not take on an assassination.
No, it is.
Is it?
At 13, you are a professional and can wield small blades with enough skill to match an assassin.
Okay, fair enough.
To match it.
13 is the level you'd be looking at if you were going to work as an assassin. I'm 1 point away from that.
Well, it's a profitable growth market.
Good morning. Let me introduce you to my brother, Tamray. Yes, I'm an assassin.
Yes. Would you like to meet my...
Who would you like me to kill?
Uh-huh.
Say what?
So you've just pointed out that Tamray, Dagred Tamray, have assassin level and small blade skill.
Ah, yeah, you're actually better than me.
Yes, that's the only thing really both of you are very, very good at.
I have less points in it than some of my other skills, but I've got a higher stat to back it up.
I think one of you also got a bonus to it, didn't you? Or am I thinking of something else?
I got a bonus to something else.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah, I got a bonus to charisma.
You're going to scout out
I got
Kelsis's
a bonus to courage.
place, and
Only point I've got in courage.
and Hamus is going to poke around town a bit, looking
He's going to
suspicious.
contemplate assassinating this tough if he can figure out which one it is, having just discovered that he's almost that good.
Very quick question before you dive off to follow Hamus around.
Mm-hmm.
What exits are there from the inn that don't go through the main entryway?
Right, from the main entrance,
Could I get out of the inn without being seen by anyone?
there are shuttered
daylight.
windows. There are shuttered windows. Your room overlooks the front of the inn, but Hamus's overlooks the rear alley. Not rear. It's not really an alley. It's more sort of gap between buildings. Doesn't actually merit the term alley.
But it's in the other direction.
It's in the other direction.
Southern direction to the front.
Place.
Yeah, it would lead you out through the garden.
How close are the buildings?
The buildings are not close. The image I put up earlier of the little village was not actually a million miles off, to be honest.
Okay.
The roads are not paved particularly, they're stamped down, and you can see that the buildings are quite well distributed.
So leaping rooftop to rooftop is not actually a valid way of getting around town without going through the standard...
Not so much, also soft thatched roofs.
Soft thatch roofs still need a firm beam structure.
They do. They're also extremely
Yeah, but
slippery.
if you land in the wrong place...
They're very resistant also to rain and snow and elements. They're less resistant to feet.
Unless you land on the beams.
Unless you land
trying
on
to
the
be
beams,
aiming
yes.
for.
Probably
There's a
requires that you
balance
hit
skill
X to activate
somewhere.
detective vision so that you can see where the beams are.
I knew there was a reason I took athletics.
Yeah. You could certainly, from the window of Hamus's room, you could make it onto the roof of the inn, which would at least give you a better view. Which would be athletics to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Something perhaps to do in the evening.
yeah, certainly if you wanted to try it during daylight hours, that would be a fairly challenging stealth roll. You'd have to pull yourself out of the window and then sort of hop up and vault upwards.
Yeah.
I was playing Dying Light last night. I did that a lot. So, Hamus, that gives you something to think about on the layout.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Hamus, what is your actual plan? assuming you don't just want to go, I want to make a streetwise roll. What is Hamus actually doing to justify his story? I mean, you can just make it, but obviously you don't. I know you convolute.
I know you.
Yeah.
What is he actually doing?
Yeah, that's not really close enough to.
That's a bit louder than the previous.
A cow's just wandered into the inn's back garden or something.
Well,
I see Dennis just walked in.
Yeah.
We were going out, and you, having had it described as being very much a small village,
Yeah.
I thought that maybe the market town was a bit much, and I'd go for farm.
It's a tad more bucolic than that. I can put up with the twittering birds, but I demand peril music.
There you go.
Yeah.
You got it.
Fair enough. Twittering birds and slightly peril music. And tail.
I don't know how perilous the music's going to be because it's just changing track.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, Hamus is stepping out of the front door.
Yes.
The labourers, by the time you come back down, the labourers are long gone.
Well, I know where they've gone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a problem if I want to find them.
Yeah. You head for the creek and you walk up a stream.
There was a small market when we arrived.
There is.
Yesterday. Is there still a small market, or was it market day yesterday and now it's empty?
As you step out of the inn, you are in fact, yes, on the square. Basically, you step out of the inn onto the central square of the town. It's cruising that halfway mark between town and village.
Yeah.
So all the roads, all the places lined with buildings in town do lead off this central square. So across the way from the inn, you can indeed see a good half dozen stalls set up and a couple of barrow carts as well.
Okay.
The stalls are clearly shuttered overnight and reopened, and the barrow carts are wheeled out day by day.
So there's enough going on for these to be here permanently.
Yep. At the moment, it's still reasonably quiet. There are some women.
Also enough going on to have a pair of professional seamstresses in town.
Yep.
So it's not that small because it's got that specialised division of labour that requires more of an economic base on it.
You also got told yesterday that there are trade caravans come through here on a regular basis.
So starting at the market, I'm going to continue the tactic that we've been doing of walking around, chatting to people, asking what work there is in town.
Okay.
Doing the itinerant labourer looking for a job thing. But also keeping a wary eye out for what is going on, not just what's being said to me, but what can I see, not so much from the people I'm directly talking to, who are going to be focused on me, but from the people behind them on the other side of the square and that sort of thing. What are people doing when they think I'm not looking at them?
Okay.
Trying to ascertain more about the life of the town and particularly its underworld, which is where my streetwise skill comes in.
Okay. You can start by cruising the small marketplace. What you have here is you have one of the permanent stalls, is the one that was selling food. They've set up their large pottage pot and are currently adding extra water and dicing up a fairly significant chunk of vegetables. Please blink. Oh, right, okay. Sorry. You froze and I suddenly thought, has the signal gone?
I was just trying to match up the volumes between the two different sound sets that I'm using on Sirenscape at the moment. Because I've added a market into the farm and it's completely quiet compared to the farm, so I can't hear it. I was just trying to see whether I could actually get a volume level where I could hear the market.
Okay. You've got... Sorry. You've got an older woman selling bundles of herbs and flowers. Some dried, some just freshly picked. And some that you're reasonably sure don't count as flowers. On her stall. You've got, from the barrow, you've got a young man with a gammy leg who is pushing around from one end of the market run to the other, barrow full of stonebake bread. Not that many in there, but periodically he returns, as you watch over the course of an hour or so, he returns to the shop a few doors down in the opposite direction to where you took the seamstress, so basically out to the left, which is shuttered, but from which comes a constant supply of white smoke from the roof, from the chimney, sorry. And this one has clearly got a stone chimney stack.
Yeah, would have.
You know there is a baker's in town. That would look to be the baker's, although they do appear not to have a shop per se. That's just the bakery.
But there's a perfectly good marketplace here, so why would they need a shop when there's a perfectly good marketplace there?
You also come across a very familiar looking young lady who is standing talking to a woman who has assorted, I'd say, random shit. It's got that whole general store feel to it. You know, a bolt of cloth here, a box of nails there, that sort of thing. General trade goods. But yes, Marion is indeed buying a bolt of cloth, which she's looking at rather critically, which is a dark grey, quite hard wearing cotton by the looks of it.
Don't think that's really your colour.
Hello. It's not for me. Okay, I'll take 10 yards. Her tone when talking to the stallholder is considerably different to the tone when talking to you.
Oh, it's very affordable.
Sorry.
Now you're just getting really weird.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff inside this game.
Yeah. But the stallholder grimaces slightly and then heads off to measure out with a stick the appropriate amount of cloth, rolling it carefully and handing it over. Yes, not for me, but not everybody can wear the best.
You don't say.
Yeah. Never mind, you'll learn. I'll get you into something nice eventually.
Well, at the moment, my best chance of finding some work around here is, clearing out the creek. I don't want to be wearing anything good for that.
I wouldn't do that. I mean, I just wouldn't do that anyway, but I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Given a choice, I'm not going to, but I haven't found anything better yet. Why would you not do it?
Because there's monsters in the creek?
Yeah, but mostly at night.
Well, we assume.
So I've heard. Still don't like the idea, though, because, drowners may only really be active at night, but if you disturb them where they live, they're still going to eat your face.
But drowners don't live anywhere. That's the point. Drowners are dead. But even so.
If you disturb them where they're dead, then.
Yes, I mean, I imagine, if you disturb their nest, it would be terrible.
They may not come hunting for you during the day, but if you just walk up to them and say, "Oi, you, get out of this creek," I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, Get out of this. Sorry. Great. Now I've got Oi Keith, get out of that tree stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Okay. She looks concerned and puts her hand on your shoulder. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. And that does strike me as terribly dangerous.
You see, that's another thing we have in common. I don't want me to get hurt either. Really not keen on getting hurt.
That's entirely understandable. It's nasty when people get hurt. Ugh.
While we're having this conversation,
Uh-huh.
Being both practiced at paranoia and also of a nervous disposition, according to the roles that I made during character creation, Hamus is going to be slyly checking to see whether we are in sight at this particular point in the marketplace of the smoking horse, and whether the toughs are out front doing their bouncer bit.
Right.
And most specifically, whether any are looking at what's happening.
Okay, well, to be fair, what this does is it short-circuits the awareness check I was about to give you if you hadn't kept talking.
Yeah. I mean, I can still make the awareness check, but I would like to hope that I might get a bonus from the fact that I'm specifically looking.
You don't. It's not that subtle. You don't have. If you you really don't need to if you're looking anyway. Right. Yes, you are in sight of the smoking horse. But you're also in sight of the toughs, who are at this point not lounging around sitting as they were yesterday afternoon. There's a couple standing, effectively trying to look impressive either side of the door. One sitting on a horse trough outside. He is staring daggers at you, or possibly Marion.
I will.
Not the sharpest looking tool in the box.
I will tilt my head in his direction. Friendly yours.
Marion will glance around. Thomas thinks he has a chance. Doesn't. Didn't. Honestly. I was nice to him.
Oh, well, there's your mistake.
Yes.
I mean, I can understand it, because you're a lovely girl. You're nice. You seem to be nice to everybody. But some people you just can't be nice to without them taking liberties.
Awareness check, please.
Trying not to look at all as if I've just realised the hypocritical comment.
Wrestles the cat away.
Awareness, you were saying?
Yes.
That's a total of 20.
Right. The awareness check allows you, on the bit where you're saying you seem to be lovely, you're nice to everyone, the stall holder behind you, who has just finished sorting out her purchase, snorts. There's an element of disbelief going on there. Don't mess with a woman's business. So, yes. His father bought his mother a new dress, and Thomas came along with her, and we got chatting because he was bored, and so was she, and fittings take ages. Oh, hello.
Be right back, just checking on the dog.
That's all
There's
right.
some odd sounds coming from outside. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. And Light Bites fades away. But yes, basically, he's been following me around like a puppy ever since. And it's a puppy that's getting increasingly likely to try and hunt my leg.
Yes, you see, the problem with puppies is they grow up. And when they do grow up, they don't necessarily turn into something that you want anymore.
You would say, you've established she's about 16, 17. To be honest, Thomas can't be more than a year younger than her.
Yeah.
We're clearly talking women grow up faster.
So, hang on, the guy's only about 16.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not in the least bit. I've stopped being worried about him then.
He is quite beefy.
Yeah, but I've got 2 years on him.
He isn't as tall as you. If I recall correctly, Hamus is quite tall.
Actually, actually have a height for him.
From what you've said, I got the feeling he's a bit of a tall and gangly thing.
Yeah, that. I haven't actually got it written down anywhere, but that would make some kind of sense because he's not got a bad body. He's got body 5, so it's above average. But I've got him in my head as being a bit scrawny, so probably he's got the height to make up for the. Plus, he's a skeleton, and they tend to be quite tall, don't they?
They're solid. Let's face it, you don't survive on Skellige without being fairly decent, and they are tall. Viking time. But yes, he is more. He's probably about half a head shorter than you, and slightly more wrestler build. Quite broad in the beam.
If it comes down to it, I'm sure my 1 point of skill in intimidation.
But he has unfortunate skin.
He unfortunately has skin.
Yes. And
but we can deal with that.
And a perpetual snarl.
I take it, was he the one I actually interacted with on the way in yesterday?
Yep.
So it's not just me then. We met yesterday and I don't think he liked me.
I don't think he likes anybody. If it were up to me and, well, let's be honest here, most people, Beltram wouldn't employ him. But I think he feels sorry for him.
That's pretty much what he said to me. I commented on the way in that, having them outside keeping people away is not the best way to get business. I thought traditionally you invite people into your business, not try and keep them out of your business.
Well,
he did seem basically to be just letting them hang around because he felt sorry for them.
Well, he promised his mum, you see, that he wouldn't join his father. His father runs a caravan between here and, I think it's Matina, possibly. But he promised he wouldn't go on, the really dangerous caravan runs, and then unfortunately his mother, passed away. So he can't leave town without breaking a promise to the dead.
So he needs somebody to persuade him that promise isn't valid anymore.
If you could talk him out of that and actually let him have a life, I think that's probably why he's so nasty to most people. Is because he can't leave and he can't do anything. He's got no skills.
Caught between a drowner and a wet place. I don't think it's going to really help.
She goes a slightly peculiar colour. Don't say drowner.
I'm not the right person to talk to him because, as I said, he seems to have taken a dislike to me already, but I don't think he really noticed my friend Dag. I'll have a word. Dag's got a silver tongue on him when he wants to. Maybe he can talk him round.
Tilda said that.
Did she indeed?
Yeah, apparently they had a real good chinwag last night.
She's a perfect gentleman, apparently.
So I hear. I'm sort of disappointed in her, to be honest.
Well, each to their own. Maybe she just needs a bit more time to warm to him.
Possibly. It's cat stalking again.
We'll see if we can find if we can find enough reasons to stay in town, then maybe she'll get a chance. Who knows?
But yes.
Well, I mustn't stop you from working anyway. You've got more important things to be doing.
I do.
Talking to an itinerant nobody like me.
I've got some maid's dresses to make.
And I've got some work to find so that I can afford to stay in this lovely town a little while longer.
Just do me a favour and don't get too muddy.
Well, I shall try.
Baths are expensive.
Yes, and I don't fancy washing in the creek.
No.
I keep hearing bad things about this creek.
Yes. No matter how.
I don't want to work in the creek, let alone washing it.
Yeah. No matter how many knives you may have up your sleeve.
It's just the one.
It's nice work.
times are hard, you know. Don't want to be wandering around unarmed. And he pats the axe as well. And, you know, this thing people can see. You've got to be good with a weapon people can see. With a weapon if people haven't seen, it doesn't matter if you're not very good.
That makes sense.
I know. We do. We make sense, we Skellige. We know about these things. If you can't fight, don't fight. That's the answer.
So, are you still staying at the inn?
Well, at the moment, but obviously it's quite expensive. I mean, the sort of work that seems to be around doesn't pay very much. So we'll either have to find something cheaper or move on, I think.
I did hear a rumour, but it's probably not something you're interested in.
Well, I'm always interested in rumours.
Well, one of the girls came in from the privates club. That's why I'm so depressed having to make this lot. Apparently there's a promise of some deep velvet coming out soon, and an order for some dresses. But the thing is, apparently they're looking for some staff.
I don't think I can do that kind of work.
Not that kind of work.
I knew there was something else I meant to mention to him earlier.
They're army employees for the most part. All of them. But no, they've got some guards and things, because obviously even the men there, they can't be expected to pose provocatively wearing nothing but their army pants and a robe, and also provide security.
So what, bouncers?
I mean, they're funny about letting the men actually guard the hen house, if you see what I mean.
I can understand that, yeah.
But if you could prove that you weren't interested, except, you know, for the money. Oh, that came out wrong. And she does actually say that.
Lowers his voice so that the woman at the stall definitely can't hear it. I thought you knew better.
She goes, a very funny colour. I need to get back to work. Good luck finding some gainful employment.
I'll check out the privates. It sounds like there may be an opportunity there.
Good call.
I mean, if most of the security is just standing around being visible, which I gather this kind of job mostly is, I can do that, all right.
Thomas couldn't get it. He's too old. He's too young. Otherwise, I'd suggest he work there.
Time will fix for him.
Hopefully, it won't be there that long. We can but hope. So, make me a streetwise check.
Okay, so streetwise.
Because between your wanderings, chattings...
20.
20?
I am extremely wise to the street.
Okay, there is clearly the core of a decent economy in this town. Trade happens. It's not off the beaten track. At the moment, there is also on the street an undercurrent, however, of watchfulness.
Yeah.
Which makes sense with a traversing army camped outside town. A couple of miles away.
Yeah.
Not far enough, let's face it. There's an element of caution and watchfulness, although people are trying to go about their daily lives. You get the distinct impression that aside from a couple of kids you saw attempting to filch vegetables from one of the barrow stalls, you get the feeling there's not a huge amount in the way of crime going on.
That's a problem.
At the moment.
There's very little crime going on. If anything happens, they're immediately going to look to the newcomers. That is not good news for us. We're going to have to plan something big and then leave immediately afterwards. We won't be able to manage with small stuff very much.
There's not the level of organisation that you would expect in the city.
I'm not seeing enough going on that I can shift my to split my activity into occasionally picking up a few items as the day wears on. If I was seeing signs of local criminal activity, that would have happened. But he wasn't going to start stealing anything until he was sure that they wouldn't immediately pin it on him.
Yep.
If there were thefts going on, he could afford to steal something. There doesn't seem to be, so he's got to be straight. This is not going to make his day.
Most people in town appear to be getting their heads down, working, odd jobbing, at best.
On the subject of odd jobbing, this is something that he's going to be attempting to do over the course of the day. If he sees somebody who he thinks, I mean, even if we're just talking about literally, can he pick up a crown here, or a crown there, and a crown there?
Yeah.
Doing things like, oh, you need those packages carrying. While he's doing the walking around, checking things out, and asking about jobs anyway, it's going to be more convincing if he also does try and actually do odd jobs here and there. As I say, carrying stuff for people, helping find somebody nailing in a fence post, offering to hold it for them for a crown, that kind of thing. Any little bits and pieces that he can get.
Right. Are you staying away from the merchant's dwelling where there's work at the moment?
He will stay away from the merchant's dwelling where he knows there's work, because if we go there, I think we're going to have to go together.
Okay.
But he will, when he finds himself in a position where it's nearby, veer towards the private club.
Okay.
But he is genuinely going to investigate to see whether there is a possibility of, not necessarily him, actually, it's another option other than the guard that probably Dagwood would be better suited towards.
Okay. Right. Over the course of the morning, you can pull together 11 crowns.
Wow, that's impressive.
Most of it in crowns. A couple of the traders, however, ask if you mind orens.
Okay, so what is the exchange rate again?
The exchange rate is
on a different page of the rulebook.
on a different page in the rulebook.
Yeah.
Shut up, leave me alone.
Find the right page.
Scrolling.
Oh, okay. Gear.
Gear descriptions. Come on, dudes.
There we go. 1 Temerian Oren is equal to 1 Redanian crown. So crowns and orens are
interchangeable.
Yeah.
Handy.
They're
So
not
in that case,
interchangeable. They are the same equivalent value.
So, yeah. Not quite interchangeable.
Yeah.
It depends
So
on
how many of my 11 are in orens?
3.
That's not too bad. And I'm sure locals in town will probably take both anyway. Hopefully.
So I just thought I'd keep a tally of which coin types I've got.
Okay.
So that I know I've got 3 orens.
That makes sense.
And the rest of my money is all in crowns.
Okay. So, you can head out towards the Privates Club.
Yeah.
And you are going to visit the guard.
That's my, I was planning 2 stops, one for the Privates Club, one for the guard. I'm assuming the Privates Club is further out than the guard, so it's going to stop at the guard, see what's involved there, and then head off to the Privates Club.
Privates Club, you know, it's a couple of miles outside town.
Yeah. So, now it was Baron Kelsis that we need to go and see.
Yes.
Which is the shingled, white-painted red house with the aggressive-looking guard out front.
Yep. Yep. You got your good descriptions. A couple of stories. Actually quite big.
Yeah.
And
so I'm guessing I don't really need to get directions to it because it's probably fairly easy to see after a couple of streets.
After a short walk, it is also slightly uphill, so it's away from the river, away from the mosquitoes that plague the creek. It's basically a nicer area.
Yeah. As I approach, I will be looking for routes around town that are, again, less travelled. So if I need to go somewhere that isn't going to be seen by all and sundry, I've got alternate routes.
Yeah. There are a couple of empty houses, clearly empty, with overgrown gardens,
That's handy to know.
in the vicinity of the Baron's house. There are also there's also an orchard lying between, basically on the slightly the west part of town, extending up the hill. You can see a couple of workmen in there currently picking crops. But yeah,
Okay.
there's an apple orchard.
Good stuff. So, off to the Baron's house. Thank you.
I tell you what, I'm not impressed with that smoke.
I can well imagine. Can't be fun having that burning. You say it's burning for what, 3 or 4 days now?
It's been going for 4 days as of yesterday.
Bloody hell.
They reckon it's going to be another week before they can put it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
As I say, fuel cells going up. I'm assuming lithium. But yeah, it's not good stuff. They should have cleared it last May 2017. They were issued an enforcement order, and they didn't.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, sore throat as a result.
Yeah.
So, yep. Approaching the Baron's house, you can see indeed it is a fairly well-maintained red painted house. You get the feeling from the colour that the red has been recently applied. And outside are a couple of large gentlemen in very stiff-looking tunics. Gambeson, sleeveless gambesons over tunics. With spears. As you approach, this actually has a cobbled road leading down to the town, so it's actually been surfaced.
I shall head towards the front door.
State your business.
Good morning. I am looking for work. I understand you are looking for more guardsmen.
You deserted.
No, I was never a soldier. I get asked this all the time. No.
Not a deserter. You
Not
just
a
want
deserter,
to be in the guard.
Never a soldier. I want a job.
Huh. Wait here. Keep an eye on him.
I will keep an eye on him. He will go nowhere, trust me.
The guy
Is
on
it
the right.
the first test?
The guy on the right gurs and vanishes inside. The guy on the left tries to stifle a grin. A sighs, and then reaches up and pulls his collar away from his neck. With the spear tucked into the crook of his arm. So, what's your name?
Uncomfortable?
It'll wear in, they tell me.
Looks like it had a lot of starch.
They told the tailor to get it as stiff as they could. I think she took it as a challenge.
I think she succeeded.
So, what's your name? What are you doing in town?
I'm looking for work. I just came up from the south.
I'd have thought your lot would have had plenty of work.
For those who want a soldier, there is plenty of work. Fighting wars is not for me. I was never a soldier. Do I look like I could be a soldier?
Well, to be fair, not so much. I mean, to be honest, well, I suppose get you in your uniform. Anybody would look official then.
Uniforms do that.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I like creating worlds as we go.
It's half the fun.
It is. Thank you, OneNote, for my one pure precious moment. So, you looking to find your fortune, or yeah, fish. Thanks. I actually wasn't. I was being straight with it. It was a straight line. Admittedly, that was also, yeah, inadvertent bait.
I was very good.
Yes. Yes. You saw the open gold and you charitably didn't take it. Thanks for that. So, yeah, you were planning on living in town, or you just after excitement and cash in the town guard?
I have just arrived in town. It seems a quiet town. Perhaps being a guardsman here will not be so bad.
Quiet, yeah. It's a bit dangerous, though.
How so?
Well, we've got some disturbingly organised bastards outside town. Oh, wait, no, sorry, that's your lot. And we've got some equally disturbingly but slightly less violent bastards south of here.
The bandits. I had heard much of them, yes. They have a town of their own?
They have a town of their own. Pretty much
They sound
by...
organised.
Yeah, they are. They are. Yeah. So he sounds almost wistful. They're an example of what happens when you start making too much money doing what you love. Eventually, people expect you to start taking charge of things, and if you start taking charge of things, suddenly you're expected to organise things. And once you organise things, then all of a sudden, you know, the town you're working in starts thinking you can organise things better than some of the people in charge, and suddenly you've got a town and you're a trader. Yeah.
You sound like you have the voice of experience there.
Don't know what you mean, mate.
Of course.
I'm farmer. I was a farmer, me. Family farmers. Yeah, we farm stuff. Pigs. Yeah. We farm pigs.
We farm stuff. Caravans mostly. I mean pigs.
XPs, yeah.
The voice of my brain is brought to you by Fishy.
Don't like that. Not happy about that. Okay.
So the only danger is the bandits and the soldiers.
The bandits, the soldiers. Apparently some of the locals have occasionally got themselves eaten by drowners in the river.
I have only heard of one.
Well, I mean, there's always bodies being pulled out of there, but that's mostly black ones who don't know where they're going and taking an opportune slash at the middle of the night. But, yeah, it's just, you know, that's just common sense to take them out of the blood pool. So, yeah, that woman getting herself killed in town, that was unlucky, but from what I heard, she was a loony anyway.
How so?
Well, most people whose heads are screwed on don't go sleepwalking. They don't go sleepwalking in the middle of the night, and they don't go sleepwalking with the very pretty nurse that your husband's just hired to look after you. But I don't know nothing.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, were it me, I'd have been paying more attention to what my husband was doing, but you know.
And of course you have experience of husband.
Are you implying
Animal
something?
husbandry, mainly. From the farm, and not banditry.
If you mean this husband, I've met him.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Is he the sort that would spend time with the nurse rather than his wife?
I think if your wife's a nutter and you hire somebody pretty to look after her, she's not looking after her all the time.
I see.
And this whole house rebuilding thing is must be stressful job.
So this nurse is attractive, yes?
Well, I wouldn't kick it out of bed.
You've met her?
Seen her.
Hmm.
Trailing around behind the wife, mainly. That's not going to happen anymore.
How unfortunate that she is out of work now.
Well, this is the thing.
With no one to look after, surely she must be headed to her next job.
I think she is headed to her next job, but at the moment she's working as a maid now.
Oh.
Well, she knows the household, you see, inside and out.
And you say it is being rebuilt?
Mm.
Not just a damaged roof needing repair?
Oh, it's mostly done now, but yeah, they had a bit of trouble with a fire, and a chunk of the roof burned out.
A fire?
Mm. Well, that's what clinched it for the wife being a nutter. She apparently was trying to start a fire, but she was trying to do it in her bedroom, not in the fireplace. Apparently she tried some kind of campfire or something. And, yeah. This game was not intended to be euphemism the role-playing game. I promise.
Sorry.
Honest to God. I'm just going to throw rocks at you guys. But no, when he turned up, he bought the house. And I think wants to... Well, he wants in on the merchant council, to be honest. But he didn't hear that from me.
He wants in on it. Was he not financing its creation?
He's paying towards it, yeah. But doesn't mean he's in on it. Not yet.
So who else is in this council?
He opens his mouth and the other guard comes out. You, in. You, stop blathering. Whatever.
I shall head in the direction that I was indicated for in.
Okay.
And the salute was an in-character thing.
Okay. Yes. The guard escorts you in.
How close is he standing?
What, the guy who is leading
The guard.
you in? Oh,
That's
the
escorting me in, that is.
Yeah.
How close to me does he walk?
He walks to your right and a pace or so behind you.
Okay.
So maybe 2 paces to your right and a pace behind you. It would be awkward for you to turn and attack him, let's put it that way.
So at some point we must have crossed over, because for him to be behind me, he'd have to come to the front and then
basically, once he opened the door, gestured you in.
As I'm going past him, is there anything on his belt that I could subtly take?
Right! He has, hanging on his belt, he has a coin pouch. He also has a dagger. And he has a smoking pipe stuck into a loop on the belt.
Okay. Duly noted.
This is in addition to the spear that he's carrying. Well,
Yeah, I'm well aware of the
yeah.
big spear.
Big spear. Little dagger. And you can also make me... it's going to be an awareness skill, I think. Let's have a quick... Yeah, it's going to be awareness.
Okay.
That's your spot. Unless there's some... Oh, no, there's actually... Yeah, awareness.
Awareness gives me 18.
Okay. As he waves you through, you see not in his belt, but dangling off it on a small leather cord, a furry object about yay big, maybe 3 or 4 inches long, inch across.
Lucky rabbit's foot or something similar.
Something along those lines.
Which of those looks like it's the easiest to lift?
Easiest the dagger, because it's not secured, but he's more likely to notice it. Easiest to lift and not get noticed on, probably either the coin purse or the rabbit's foot. Depends how heavy his coin purse is.
Not interested in the coin purse at all.
The pipe is in the loop in the belt. It might register a disturbance at his waist.
Yeah. I'll leave it this time round.
Okay.
We'll see how the discussion with whoever the recruiting officer happens to be goes.
Right. You are led into... let me just name this guy. Right, you're led into a courtyard, which is reasonably busy, actually. You've got obligatory chickens. It's contractual chickens. Every medieval setting, whether the chicken exists in this setting or not.
And back to the farmland I go looking for chickens.
I just said cue fishy for the sound effects.
What bloody chickens?
Yay! That's because they've all escaped into their mandatorily mandated roles. Ow. Yeah, basically you've got chickens, you've got assorted people wandering back and forth, looking terribly purposeful.
What a cock that was.
Chicken I've got.
Yep. He sounds very stressed and depressed, and you're not sure why.
Probably because there's no hens.
Yes. There are assorted red gambesoned guardsmen standing around, and some of them with their tunics off, neatly folded over a stand, are sparring with spears, with varying degrees of competency.
Okay.
The thing they do all have in common is they're all fairly tall, and for the ones that you can see who are in their undershirts, they all clearly are not suffering on the having enough to eat front.
Okay, so we're not talking six packs and rippling muscles, we're talking somewhat overweight and well fed.
Kinda. I mean, we're not talking unfit fat, but these guys don't have access to your muscle isolation machines and and gym fit thing. They've got that whole... They look like they could probably do you some damage. There are muscles going on there, but they're not the 0% body fat.
Yeah.
And judging by how hard some of them hit when they're sparring, you get the feeling you wouldn't necessarily want to be in a direct confrontation.
Good.
You are led past a couple of flights of stairs which lead up to galleried walkways into an open-sided office, where a man sits at a table reading from a stack of papers. You're the new bloke.
I was looking for work, yes.
Alright, Hablin, I'll take this.
I was told you are in need of guardsmen.
The guy with you gives you a slightly disparaging once over and heads back to the gate. The man behind the table sits back and appraises you. You're not very big, are you?
Is that a requirement for the job, to be large and well-strong, muscled?
Well, intimidation makes the job easier, People are less likely to try anything if you give the impression you can flatten them with one fist. But it's not a given.
Is there an intimidation skill?
There is indeed.
There is indeed. Which
It's
is
under
under
will.
empathy. Oh, it's will, not empathy.
It's will, not
You've got +1 in it.
Yeah. +1 in that and no will.
We've
have will, it's just
skill. We
pants.
both had to have +1 minimum
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah,
I've
it's
got
a
to put
requirement
more
for
than
that.
that in.
You're not intimidationary, you
No.
criminals.
I see. Well, what other requirements are there for guardsmanship? Are we to keep the town safe? Are there crimes to be investigated?
There's not that much in the way of proper crime. Not that would really register in a more civilized area. His accent is not the same as the guards you were just talking to, who were, to your ear, certainly very parochial. Although you are working with a different area to your own.
Yes.
Yes. But, yeah. There are crimes. There are some crimes that need to be investigated, and some your lot leave us to investigate. Any crimes involving soldiers, that goes straight back to the Black Ones.
Of course.
So, you know, a couple of girls who vanished. You know, that gets investigated by them. Where girl
Girls
paid.
from the privates club?
Look, what the young lady does to make
I
her
am
money.
merely asking so I know the boundaries.
No, not at the private. Well, not in that part of the privates club.
Because I also see the privates club are looking for guards. I was
Yeah.
thinking to apply there also.
He gives you an appraising look, and we go into verbal combat.
That sounds rather awkward. Dear God, if this is will based, I'm so screwed. If it's empathy based, I've got a chance.
Yeah,
Pondsmith's been playing Lace and Steel.
kinda. Let me just head through the combat. The sooner they bookmark this, the better. Scroll in.
See if you can. Will it let you open multiple copies of the PDF so you can have it on separate pages?
Yeah, it will, but I've already got 4 PDFs open at the moment, especially with the browser being a bit squirrely.
Yeah.
Vehicle combat, mounted vehicle combat.
We've only got horses. Oh, and carts, I suppose.
Right,
This is where the demonic steel horse comes in.
yeah. When you're running a more diplomatic game or have a lot of bards, merchants, or talkative characters,
Oh, crap.
Talkative characters.
yeah,
Very talkative.
We'll classify ourselves under merchants, shall we?
yes,
We're in business, kind of.
yes.
Yes, we do aim to make a profit.
Yes, you're in business, and I'm wondering whether you do work.
No, I still need an extra point on my small blade skill.
I, however, do not.
Yeah. Verbal combat grants persuasion and other verbal skills their own combat. When starting a verbal combat, each party establishes what their goal is in the combat. Each player then determines their resolve, which acts as their health points. They actually get social hit points.
Jesus.
And this strikes me as an interesting way I can decide from this whether or not I want to use this system.
It's an interesting concept already.
So your resolve, which works as your verbal hit points, is your will plus your intelligence, averaged,
Okay.
times 5.
25.
Okay.
That was the math on that at least was fairly easy. 4, 6, average. Oh,
Yep.
5.
Yep.
Times 5.
Yep.
5. So I can do my 5 times table.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, please, Fish. Given the focusing issues, because it keeps trying to re-find your face, when you zoom in fast to the camera, it's actually really intimidating. Oh, that's even worse.
That's actually quite a cool effect.
Yeah. A verbal combat works much like a regular combat, with each person using an attack and their target defending with one of the defences noted on the next page. So, first person whose resolve falls to 0 loses the combat and is convinced of whatever their opponent is arguing, or basically will achieve whatever goal. So, you are trying to dig in to what may or may not be going on at the Privates Club.
No, that was purely a conversation piece. I'm trying to ascertain
Level of crime.
And what the guards are expected to be doing.
And he doesn't necessarily want to give you all the information you're looking for.
Understandable.
So, your attack options are under either empathy, intelligence, or will. Under empathy, you have the options of seduction, persuasion, leadership, or charisma, depending on whether you want to seduce, persuade, appeal, or befriend.
Befriend.
Okay, so that would be an empathy.
Just average, what are the intelligence options?
The intelligence option is deception, which is under the deceit skill.
Which is an empathy skill.
But it's like Deadlands. You don't always have to roll under the skill that it's listed on. Will, which I will tell you purely for completeness, is ridicule and intimidation.
Yeah, I'm really not going the will route.
Yeah, I've seen what your will score is. I wouldn't recommend it.
Deceit, however, is actually quite an option, yes.
Given that this list doesn't quite match up to the skills list, I think they would have done better finding new names for everything.
Yeah, I can see that.
Evade the confusion on deception.
Yeah.
Being under intelligence.
If you end a combat...
Ridicule, what do you use for ridicule?
Ridicule? If you successfully ridicule a person in public, you also lower their...
What skill are you using for ridicule?
Social etiquette.
Social etiquette. Right, there you go. That answers the question. I wanted to know.
Sorry. Yes, if you successfully ridicule a person in public, you lower their reputation with those people by 2 for each successful ridicule. The penalty lasts a day.
Did you say that was under will?
Yes.
That's weird.
It does damage.
Deception and social etiquette have both basically moved attributes.
Sorry, I wasn't being entirely clear. The damage that you do to their resolve is based on will, in that case. So d6 plus your will. The actual skill will be rolled as the skill. As normal. But the damage you do is based on your will, your intelligence, or your empathy. It is an interesting way of doing it. So, yes, if you enter combat with a successful deceit check, you've convinced the defender of your lie. So you can fence for a while with any of the other skills, but if your killing blow, as 'twere, is with deceit,
okay,
then that's the kicker.
Presumably the same applies in other cases. If you want to command somebody, you logically need to make your killing blow with leadership.
Yeah. The defender thinks you probably have the right idea and takes a cumulative +1 damage from empathetic attacks for each time you succeed at appeal. Basically, appealing does extra damage over time. Because, you convince them that you are in the right and you're displaying leadership characteristics. You're destroying their ego. Strikes me as about right for your average management style.
You're displaying leadership characteristics. You're assigning somebody to a job who will do nothing on it at all for 2 years, then flee and put the blame on you.
Yes.
Better politics.
Okay. So, how would you like to begin? Did you say appealing or befriending?
I'll be befriending. Definitely befriending.
Okay.
Yes. My two weapons in this fight generally are going to be deceit and friendship, which generally don't go hand in hand, but I kind of have an idea.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, they do. You obviously, if you don't think they go together, you have a far too trusting nature.
I'm clearly far too trusting.
Okay then. Make
So-
me... Sorry, carry on.
I'm going to start by taking a friendly approach. I'm clearly... This probably isn't the best way to go, but I'm clearly not local, but
Okay.
want to assist in what the guards do, and I want to find out how the guards do this. So I'm looking to join the guards to help keep the peace.
Right, make me a charisma check. Charisma
So
skill
that-
roll.
Is on empathy and charisma, which means I'm 10 and rolling a d10. The red die gives me a 19.
Romance isn't... I didn't make you roll for romance skills last week. 19. Okay, so...
So romance is verbal combat.
Romance can be handled as an option.
Makes sense. I mean, seduction is one of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Usually
did mention
what they-
seduction, so yeah.
But this is more a high-end
We didn't have
persuasion
verbal
thing.
combat last week, though. We had two people, both of whom wanted the same thing,
Yes,
who just chatted for a while until they decided to go and do it.
pretty much. Which is ideally how the situation should work out.
Yeah.
Oh, Kittamog. Okay, so he will, in response to your befriending, attempt to study you. Oh, for fuck's sake. 19, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Would you like to please roll me a d6 plus your empathy?
D6 plus my empathy.
Yeah.
Okay. Purple D6. Has a bloody D10 landed on top of it, which I can't shake off.
Uh-huh. Shake it off. Shake it off.
Plus my empathy, did you say?
Yep.
My empathy is 7 plus 5 is a very nice 12.
Okay. So, your attempt to befriend him, he narrows his eyes. So your interest, it is purely you want to make yourself useful. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly so.
He says, hosing his
Yeah.
defence.
I've been here a day and I've been talking to people. I'm good at talking to people. It's a skill. It's how you get by, how you find odd jobs to get you through the day until you can find something that you can really dedicate yourself to. And in talking to people, I've noticed that a lot of people are worried about the bandits to the south. And I can't help but feel that there may be more to it. Either to the fear or a perceived fear. And some of that may be fueling a need for the guard. Some of it may be that... Do you send guards out with the caravans?
Right.
Is that a thing?
He it's his attack. His eyebrows draw down and he stares at you. I think that's information that I don't necessarily think you're entitled to. I don't think we trust you yet. And he makes an intimidation check. So, your defense, the defenses available to you
Mm-hmm.
are ignore, which is done on resist coercion, counter argue, Change the subject. Disengage, which would end the argument. Romance. Study him.
Oh my lord.
Which would be done on human perception. Imply.
What's that done on?
Persuasion or deceit.
I think he places his hand on the sergeant's knee and says, "What can I do to make you trust me?"
Implying allows, it does no damage, but implying allows you to suggest something good or bad about your current argument. If you succeed, you lower your opponent's defences by -4. You can only use imply once per combat.
Then we will imply.
Okay, what are you using to imply? Persuasion or deceit?
Deceit.
Right, he's stating that he has no reason to trust you yet, so he's got that look. Make him stop. He's got that sneaky look.
I can see where you are coming from, and I do not doubt you for 1 second that you should not trust me. However, I said I have been speaking to people, and that includes some of the guard.
Okay.
They indicate through... They're not very subtle. That they have been with the bandits. Some of your own guard may know more about the bandits than you are aware of.
Oh, okay. Roll me a deceit check, please.
The wonder of deceit is basing it on a half-truth that you are assuming.
Yep.
Deceit, you said, comes off intelligence in this circumstance.
No,
didn't
it's
you?
alright. I misread it. It's rolled as normal.
It's rolled as normal. Okay, so
Yeah.
my deceit is an empathy skill. Okay, so 7 plus my 5 deceit
God, you've
is
already
12.
beaten him.
18.
Jesus. Insanity. Okay, his his defences are now dropped by -4. So he has -4 to all his future defences.
And I've possibly just made him totally paranoid.
He stutters slightly. Yeah. And you can now go back on the attack.
So I need a moment to compose myself. I wasn't expecting that to be quite so...
Yeah. Yeah, he looks a little worried by your comment. And the eyebrows go back up. And yeah, you can now go back on the attack.
So, what are my attack options again in terms of the approach?
The approach are seduce, persuade, appeal, befriend, deceive,
Okay.
ridicule, or intimidate.
Let's go with persuade.
Okay, which is done on persuasion, funnily enough.
Yeah. So, I am sure you can understand that whilst having a guard comprising of very strong, military-minded fighting men is good for defense and for capturing people, you have a need for information gathering, for the people to find the information, for the strong men with the spears to go and fight and catch. And there's a fly right in front of the lens of the camera. Excuse me a second, folks.
Okay.
Get out of it. And this is the role I believe I am better suited to than the man with the spears.
He gives you a sideways look and attempts study again.
Alright, and you at my persuade roll, which
Yep.
gives me a 16.
Okay. He rolls a 2 and we gloss over this. I mean, he's on -4 to his defense anyway. And he only rolled a total of not enough. As it was. And he had -4 to that. So that's
dear.
just taking the mickey. So someone like you might be useful. Right, roll me a d6 divided by 2 plus your empathy for damage.
D6 divided by 2 plus my
Yeah.
empathy. Okay, we'll go with the purple die again. 2 plus my empathy of 7 is 9.
Okay. He's definitely wavering You can see the set of his mouth is not as solid as it was, and the body language has changed from sitting back in his chair with his arms folded to a more personal, leaning forwards, almost doing that hands on the desk thing.
I've got his interest, clearly.
You've got his interest. Now's the time to bring it home.
Yeah.
You've almost got him.
Excuse me. Oh, Fishy looks so nice there with the cat.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the Bond villain moment.
it is. I think it's the Brutal t-shirt that makes it.
I
Yes,
expect you to roll a 1.
You will employ the Nilf Guardian.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, this could be the death blow.
Best way to do this.
For ending a combat,
Yeah.
your options are persuasion,
Mm-hmm.
befriending, deceit. Those have specific end of combat.
Does
Effects.
reputation have any effect on this combat?
Your reputation at the moment is not having any effect on this combat because you're human.
And
So
also because I'm not showing my...
you're not showing your...
Impressed.
No.
However, if I was to show it, would it have an effect on this combat?
It might do. You know that the guy who owns this establishment is a Nilfgaard fan, or at least is pretending to be. You don't know which way.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This chap
That's always
is
the thing.
aligned.
We're in enemy territory. It could just be he's appeasing people to stay under the radar.
You're in nervous territory. It's not like you're in the heartlands of the north, but you're definitely in people who just want to keep their heads down and hope that the army goes away and doesn't notice them too much. Overall. At the moment, you're in the bit where people go to have their wars.
Oh, I'm in
Fantasy
two minds which way to
Belgium.
play
Yeah.
this.
So,
as yet, you have not said how much being in Zagard pays. I am interested. Sorry, the accent's gone really deep. I do apologize.
yeah, it's alright.
I am interested, but I'm also going to talk to the Privates Club. They need guards. They will have similar needs. They will need someone that can slip in and out of society. They need someone that can slip around things and find the information that people are most guarded about. They will need someone that can talk to people without seeming officious, without being intimidating. Someone they can talk to as a friend, someone like me. And they will pay me for this, as could you.
Right.
I'm going for the persuade.
You're going for persuade.
Yes.
Right. Have it. He will attempt a defense. He will attempt to disengage.
Persuade is... God, I lost my persuade now. Okay. 15.
He's not particularly good, unfortunately, at resist coercion. Which I think tells you all that he needs to.
Especially when his defences are at -4.
Especially when his defence is at -4. Yeah, he's gone from being not too happy about this to Well, the die is completely irrelevant because that brings the die down to 0. And he isn't Superman, therefore your 15 will do it. Right, roll damage, which is
D6 half
persuasion.
plus
Yeah,
empathy.
half of a D6 plus your empathy.
Okay, that's 10.
Wow. Okay.
If you're going to match your damage,
Yeah. Oh
it's
boy.
good having high empathy.
Yeah, you just gave him a verbal kicking. And he came out thinking that you were right. I suppose not everybody is born to carry a spear.
Just so.
It'd be useful for us to have eyes and ears in town. not everybody is as forward thinking as we are here. And yeah, that might well be worthwhile. And we don't want you taking your skills off the Nilfgaardians. They've got enough people. They'll be able to figure someone out. Okay. While you're working for us, you get 15 crowns a day, plus your bed, plus your board, plus your meals. You'll get a measure of whiskey per day. Anything else past the beer you buy yourself. You'll have a locker for your gear, and
I like this.
you'll be expected to turn duty. Now, I'm probably not going to use you on guard duty, because that would just be laughable.
As would putting me in a uniform. They will not talk to the uniform if they will not talk.
Yeah, you'll have to have a uniform though,
Of
because
course,
the
for
Baron wants
official
one.
purposes.
Yeah, so we'll get you measured up for that, and put an order in with the Bint in town. He sounds quite disparaging.
With Marion and Tilda.
Yeah, Tilda, that's the one. Strange woman. Only makes clothes for men. Go figure. So, we'll get you measured up. We'll take down. We'll send you down there. If you've met them, you know where they are.
I know where they are.
Take yourself in there, and he scribbles down onto a piece of paper. Hand them this, so they'll know you get the credit.
Thank you.
You will need one uniform, you'll need 2 undershirts, which you're expected to provide yourself, and your own trousers. We'll provide the spears.
Of course.
Terribly restrictive. They expect him to wear trousers.
Yes, I know, isn't it awful?
Don't tell me Skellig are all kilts.
They are, aren't they?
No, they're tartan quite often, but they're also not stupid and live up mountains and sail on the seas, where iron grey and snow are basically the primary colour scheme. I'd show you the picture if I could bloody upload one. Grr. So yeah. You have successfully persuaded the chap who stands up, offers his hand. Guy de Versnack, at your service.
As he stands up, can I do a quick look for anything around the wrist area that is stealable?
Okay.
Yeah, does he have a bracelet or something that a sleight of hand could just... You need to be more careful with your security.
Right, okay, let's give that a go. Sorry, give me a sec. Because the answer's probably yes, actually. The only thing he doesn't have is a wristwatch.
For obvious reasons. It's got a sundial stuck on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it's 3:15. It's 6:30.
Right.
Oh, the days just go so quickly when you turn around.
Let's head to the random loot roll. Isn't it amazing? You go through wolves, wargs.
What? See, I feel more comfortable when we can do a fight with words. Actual blades worries me, but words I can do.
I can see that actually. That would work. Okay, so he is wearing a bracelet, metal bracelet. You can see it's yellow metal. You're not sure what specifically it is.
They come
It's
up a
a
whole lot
torque
more
style,
Yeah.
so open and fits around the wrist.
He would notice it coming off. I was hoping for something more fabric or leather based?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, I will. How about rings? Has he got a ring on?
Yes.
Rings are very good for that.
Okay, yeah, he has a silver ring. And it has a green gem set in it. Random possessions table. That's what I was after.
Now, what skills am I rolling to lift that thing?
Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand, which is a dexterity skill,
Yes.
which I'm only averagely good at.
Well, that's what it's for.
Okay. What the hell? Let's see how the system works.
Okay.
So the plan is, shake his hand, take the ring. You should be more careful with your things.
Okay.
And give it back to him. There's no pretense of trying to pocket it or...
Right.
It's purely a...
Right.
I am really very good at what I do.
This is going to be his awareness versus your sleight of hand. So, let's roll it.
He's not still suffering the -4 from the verbal combat, is he?
No. Nice try.
Oh shit, I'm accidentally typing in chat there.
Oops. Suddenly a macro appears.
Okay, that'll do.
Okay, what'd you get?
18.
Okay, yeah, that will do. I thought, 15, yeah, I'm happy with that. Oh. Okay, so he's paying attention, but he still doesn't notice when you take the heavy silver ring from his finger.
So his face when, literally, as I pull back from this handshake, give
Yeah.
him his ring back.
Is startled. He actually does the... Alright,
I am very good at what I do.
seems I made a good decision. He's into the rationalisation end of things. This was all his idea. So...
He's an accomplished thief. I'm glad I'm trusting him.
Yeah.
I'm good at finding information and getting to the places to get that information without people noticing. Is the inference of that particular movement.
Okay. So...
Alternatively, set a thief to catch a thief.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you have just been recruited into Baron Kelsis' guard. We've just
Yes.
volunteered for it. You've made a further enemy of Thomas just by giving him a dirty look.
Without even talking to him, yay.
Without even talking to him. Your friendship with Marion proceeds apace. And you are now becoming known as helpful to the everyday town inhabitants.
Which is useful.
Which is helpful.
Yes.
So your next stop was to head out to the Privates Club, wasn't it?
It was...
Which we will be doing next week.
Next week, that's
Because
what
it's
I assume.
10:30.
Lovely.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed that. The verbal sparring was cool.
Yeah.
I like that. It's going to take me a little while to get the fluidity of it. But the basic idea I really like. I was getting serious lace and steel moments.
I think partly because of the characters that we have created, this is proving to be a really role-play heavy game. I mean, it doesn't have to be. It's got a very dangerous combat system, but obviously if you're playing a Witcher, there's going to be a lot more of the hacking down monsters and a lot less of the wandering around town, helping people carry their shopping. But
I was interested in what you were doing around town. I found that quite a nice way of doing things. It beats I'm going to roll my streetwise check.
Yeah. I'm a great believer with skills like Streetwise. Yeah, if the player really is stumped, that's what there is a skill roll there. And the skill roll will be made. But in the same way that I tend to do with persuasion type skills, I'm a great believer in letting what the character is doing in the role play then modify what the result of the Streetwise check or persuasion skill check come out as.
It gives me more to hang stuff on because it shows me more of how you're acting towards people. And yeah, that's going to be fun to carry on with. So yeah, you've got multiple threads. You've got something funny's happened at the Privates Club, you know about.
Yes.
You're still basically looking to make some scratch so that you can afford to upgrade and improve yourselves and live.
eating is still a problem, but I made a couple of nights bored.
Yeah.
Sorry, I made a couple of nights room. I started to make board.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I have room, board, and food sorted out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just crimped by style.
Yes, and unfortunately, it's going to be in the mansion,
Yeah.
in the manor. Sorry. So talking to Hamus is going to be a bit more of a mission than otherwise. But on the other hand, you do have more freedom than any of the other guards.
Yes.
So, and a good reason to go into town.
A very good reason. You need information.
Yes, and there's also still what happened to Delgrin's wife?
We still haven't addressed the Delgrin issue.
Yeah.
There's
But-
definitely something going on.
We've now
Which
got
now you can do on the books.
exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you can now legitimately look into it.
Yeah.
So,
It's
I'm
his
glad
job.
you guys appear to be enjoying this.
Definitely.
Certainly, yeah.
Definitely.
I still think, although it is very RP heavy, I still think we've very much got the feel of the world from the game.
Cool.
It is nice, and this one shot is expanding out further than that. 1 or 2 sessions, I thought, oh boy.
Yeah,
It's 10.
Crimson Skies was supposed to be 3 or 4 sessions. Finished on session 10.
Yeah.
Again, though, Crimson Skies turned into actually quite an RP heavy
Yeah.
game, and that's what extends the things out.
Yeah.
What you tend to write as a GM is you write the action.
Yes.
It's the stuff with the rolling dice and throwing punches and flying planes gets actually scripted out, and then the more roleplay is done, the bigger the gaps between each of those scripted set piece actions becomes.
Yes.
That's what extends it, and it's meant to. That's the point. That's what it's
Yeah,
for.
and that's what makes it all the fun, because that's what we do. We are playing the role.
Yeah. So.
I remember many years ago when I was still playing with David and Neil, and Neil was running his own system. We had an entire game session on Sunday, which, as you know, at that point was about 11-hour game sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Midday.
The entirety of Sunday.
We spent the entire game session just on one banquet. All the characters were there, and we were all running multiple characters. We didn't normally have more than one being used at a time, but they were all in the same place, and they were all at the banquet. So we were all running about 3 characters, and talking amongst each other and the NPCs in multiple characters, and it took us the entire session to go through one banquet, and we loved it. It was a brilliant session.
Right. Just noting down what you've done. So, yep, next Sunday for this then. I am around next Sunday. I don't think I'm around the Sunday after, but we'll tackle that when we get there.
Okay.
Because I think I'm on holiday then. And so, Monday tomorrow. What upcoming streams do we have? Is it ED for you tomorrow?
All things being equal, I should be in Elite Dangerous, continuing my journey to somewhere near
Out towards the
Beagle Point.
Okay.
I'm currently 20,000 light years from my destination.
Woof. So you're headed for Snoopy, past Woodstock. So.
So yeah, which logically puts me around 20 to 30 light years from the bubble. 30,000 light years from the bubble.
Woof.
A long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And Fishy, did I hear consideration of a Mapper Monday?
Ooh.
No, there will not be a Mapper Monday, because annoyingly, the only day this week I'm working is Monday. So there will be at some point, however, there will be a Rules and Roleplay stream, which will not be called Mapper Monday because it won't be on Monday, but will very basically be a Mapper Monday stream. I will boot up Campaign Cartographer and generally chat about gaming with whoever happens to be in
Excellent.
Chat while I do it. And
Topographic Tuesday?
drawing a map.
Yeah.
I've been trying to think of a good name that works for other days of the week, and I cannot think of one. But I'd already folded last time a couple of Mapper Monday streams I did. I'd already folded them in as listed as Mapper Monday, but using the screen architecture for rules and roleplay. So it was a subset of rules and roleplay. I'll just ditch the Mapper Monday part and just call it rules and roleplay.
Fair enough.
So yeah, there will be a stream from me for a change this week.
Okay.
Cool. Tuesday is normally my day off, but I'm considering rearranging my days and trying to fit in a second drum stream. I may or may not do something Tuesday. I don't know yet.
Okay.
I might just recover from the 2 days of work.
Yes, fair enough then. Okay, so we will end it there, and thank you guys for watching. Thank you for playing.
Thank you for hosting.
Thank you for running.
Enjoying this.
Thoroughly enjoying this.
Yeah, they've done
Massively
a good job.
so.
Right, so yes, good night.